Okay, everyone, welcome to our May 2026 Neighborhood Ward 5 agenda. And I'm calling the meeting to order. Okay, it's being recorded. Okay, before we have a roll, actually, let's do the roll call first, and then we'll have a brief announcement. You want to take us, sir, Kurt, please?
Allen,
Here.
Asina, Knight, absent. Matson, absent. Miranda, online. Murchie, absent. St. Dennis,
Here.
Velasco, Wasden, absent. Bruce Wong, Kendrick Wong, absent. Linda Wong, Witherwax, absent. Rosman,
Here.
Welch, Cherry of Quorum with 9 members.
Thank you, Curtis. And we have our meeting, as most of you probably know, was canceled by the city the last couple of months because of storms. So we have a very ambitious agenda tonight. So we're going to need everyone's cooperation. And to that end, which we should do all the time, Arlene has some helper announcements for us as
Yes.
we're moving
So
forward.
what we're going to try to do is keep everyone's comments to 2 minutes. And what we're going to try to do for anything contentious, we're going to try to really get through this agenda quickly so that we have time for real discussion at the end of the meeting. That's the goal. And that way we can walk, you have to wrap it up quickly. So thank you very much for that.
Okay, and you might be saying, can you summarize your comments at when it
Yes.
gets to like 1:45?
Yes, when you hear that, you can have an extra seconds to summarize.
Okay, thank you very much, Arlene. So with that, we're going to move straight on to the public safety reports with our Honolulu Fire Department.
Online.
Okay, and online we've got someone from.
Hi.
Wait, go ahead.
My name is Joshua Chase. I'm the captain at Engine 7 on First Watch at Waikiki. For April 2026, these are some of our stats. Fires, we had 1 nuisance fire, 5 activated alarms, no fire. Emergencies, 59 medical emergencies, 1 mountain rescue, 2 ocean rescues, and 2 hazmat incidents. And then for our fire safety tip, we got wildlife prevention and preparedness tips for you guys. Clear dry brush and vegetation around your home. Never park on dry grass, or the hot exhaust can ignite it. Avoid activities that can create sparks or heat during dry, hot, windy weather. Stay aware of weather and fire conditions. And then for more information, you can visit fire.honolulu.gov and hawaiiwildfire.org. And that's pretty much it. You guys got any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for the Honolulu Fire Department? I had one quick question. I read an article in the paper about one of our neighboring valleys that uses goats and sheep to clear the brush, which I brought up before. Seems like a wise idea. I was wondering if HFD could look into that along with Firewise Hawaii or Firewise Honolulu and the city and see if we couldn't do this around our valleys, our peaks here, as well as Diamond Head. So if that's something maybe you could take somewhere raised inside of the city.
Okay. Yeah, I think I was there the first time you brought it up, probably a couple years ago. But yeah, I can look it up. And then the Firewise too. Yeah. So we started doing that in the community, and I'll go pass it on upstairs and see what they say.
Thank you very much. If
Thank
there's
you.
no other questions, we will move on to Honolulu Police Department District 6, Waikiki, Kape'olani Park, Diamond Head, and maybe online. Oh, here. Okay. Yes, sir. Welcome.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lieutenant Hanuna, Cyrus Hanuna from District 6, Waikiki. For this month of the stats, for April, we had 2 robberies compared to 3 the previous month. Burglaries, we had 6 compared to 5 last month. Thefts, 126 compared to 166. UEMVs, which is basically your car getting broken into, we had 8 this month compared to 13 the previous month. Assaults, 38 compared to 43. Sex crimes, 14 compared to 7. Bike, skateboards on sidewalks, we had 0 this month compared to 3 the previous months. Speeding, this month we had 0 warnings, 19 citations, 0 arrests. Last month we had 0 warnings, 11 citations, 0 arrests. Parking, 1,556 compared to 2,520 the previous month. Loud muffler, prohibited noises, we had 2 this month compared to 7 the previous month. Park closures, we had 0 warnings, 36 citations, and 16 arrests. The previous month we had 0 warnings, 65 citations, and 15 arrests. Total cost for service, 4,160 compared to 4,356. Operating a vehicle under the influence, DUI, DWI, 6 this month compared to 10 the previous month.
Thank you, sir. And to questions, Ms. Wong?
Would you happen to have a copy of that?
What, ma'am?
Oh, we have.
Yeah, I put it under your.
Oh, okay. Thank you. For the copy.
I have a quick question regarding the monk seal at Kamana Beach.
Yes, ma'am.
The last Sunday, there was once the lifeguards left, a bunch of people went on the beach, and I saw a woman get really dangerously close to the monk seal and her pup. And I tried calling 911, and I was literally on hold before I even got a dispatcher to ask if it was an emergency or not an emergency for about 5 or 10 minutes. So I was just wondering how you are handling the situation at Kamana Beach.
We know about the monks on Kamana Beach. I'm sorry about your wait. Yeah, so we're actually not the lead agency on that. It's actually comes under the Department of Land Act, DNR, or DOCARE as they call them. But we do make checks on that. But it's actually under the DOCARE. So, but we also do make checks too.
Yeah, I called them first, and then it was a Sunday night, and nobody answered. I didn't think they would.
Yeah.
And they said to call, and on their answering machine, they say to call 911.
Okay, yeah. And if it's call us, we'll go down and chat. I mean, we'll kind of catch up for everything. So I'm sorry you have to wait though. I mean, yeah, unfortunately, due to being so short-staffed, I know you're not the first person to have to wait, and I know it's kind of frustrating, and I'm sorry about that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I think a community member has a question as well.
My name is Amy, so I'm a resident of Kapahulu, and I run around Kapalino Park and then Diamond Head often, and then sometimes I go through Waikiki. And I've just noticed the last few weeks there's been a lot of like really big off-leash dogs like on the sidewalks and in the parks. One of them, the owner turned around and the dog actually ran up and was barking at me. And it's like just a really scary situation. So I'm just curious what to do in those situations, and if there's, do I call 911 or the non-emergency lines? And then is there a concerted effort for these big off-leash dogs? Like, I know there's one guy who walks 3 big, huge German Shepherds off leash around Diamond Head in the mornings. So yeah, I don't know if you, and I guess for 6 and 7, it's here. It's kind of difficult.
Yeah, okay, I cannot answer for District 7, right? But for District 6, we'd be more than happy. We do have officers who check Kapilani Park for that every morning. So the 2 officers that we have in the morning time, that's kind of one of the first things they do is they go around the park randomly and check for vehicles, dogs, residentially challenged people, people who might have been there overnight, extended nighttime over there. Yeah. So that's one of the first things those guys do in the morning.
Six. Say it again. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. And then we have HPD District 7, Diamond Head, Kapahulu-St. Louis Heights, Eats, Honolulu. I believe
good
that's
evening.
online.
Yep, online. Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Lieutenant Nishimura representing HPD District 7, East Honolulu. The following are the statistics for the month of April. Motor vehicle theft 2, burglary 6, theft 21, UEMV 6, with total calls for service for the month in District 7, 5,614. Our tip for the month is hurricanes in Hawaii. June through November is hurricane season. We just want to let everyone know that prior preparation is key during hurricane or emergency events like this, emergency weather events. The first responders are going to have a delayed response. So prior preparation is the key, especially to have a kit ready to go in case you need to evacuate, and also to know where you need to go if you need to evacuate, and know if you are in areas that would be adversely affected by flooding or the hurricane itself. For more information with regards to hurricanes in Hawaii and what you can do to prepare and be ready, please go to the city and county website, honolulu.gov, and then you can find more information there. Thank you. That's a report for the month.
Thank you, Lieutenant Nishimura. Are there questions for District 7 and Lieutenant Nishimura? Yes. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, good evening, board members, Lieutenant. My name is Andrew Pomsawan for the record, and I've been talking to a few community members recently, and this is regarding the St. Louis Heights area. And we really wish there was more patrol up there as far as like no parking zones or blocking, driveways. In the evening time, I know parking is a premium out there, but is there any way that we can increase patrol for the area, or any way we can request it if you guys aren't already on there?
Yeah, absolutely. We can have more officers go and check during the busier traffic times and throughout the day. I believe we had a report of that. I want to say kind of recently, and so I know we've done more checks on that. I want to say within the last maybe month or two. But yeah, I will note that down, and we can definitely have officers check. We understand that the traffic, especially turning and the vision getting into the different intersections, has been an issue in that area up there. But we'll check. Thank you.
Yeah, and specifically on Oswald Street, where Oswald and St. Louis Drive meet, specifically over there, because there's a lot of the bus route goes along over there too, and it creates a very dangerous situation when the roads are kind of narrow. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I see Ms. Ruby. Laura, you're on mute. You're still on mute. Go ahead. Yeah,
Can
we
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Go ahead.
Going wrong.
You're on mute again. Go ahead. You're on mute
Okay.
again.
Okay, trying again. Okay, this regards Kuile Place. That's on Kapiolani. It's the cusp between our different neighborhood boards and everything, but District 7 is responsible for that Kuleana area. The contracting workers are parking all over the place. They park right up at the street signs on Kuile and Waiaka, where it says no parking, and the street signs. It's a very narrow street, and it's a speed through street. Anytime there's somebody standing out there, people will slow down. But it's a real problem. Then people are parking on unimproved sidewalks, and there's places for them to park by Sequoia and by the Texaco station on Kapiolani, where the old Gazan restaurant was. And if you could possibly get them, I've tried calling the contractors and all, intending them to park elsewhere, but it really clogs up the whole of the community. So I'm sure it's on the other side too. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we did have excuse me, we did have a complaint on that. I know we spoke to somebody, a representative there, but we'll follow up again. Thank you.
Yeah, I had to call them in, and they did come in, and they ticketed 2 cars, or maybe 4 cars, but it's just they've got places to park. They're just not willing to get there. Thank you.
Thank you. There's no other questions for District 7 Thank you, Lieutenant Nishimura. Have a safe rest of your month.
Winston, I have a question. It's Noella.
Go ahead, Noella.
Yes, hi, good evening, everybody. Once again, the mopeds at Makalei Beach Park, they are destroying that park. They're parking on the right side, and it's already more than 3/4 of the way up. All the grass is going away. It's turning into dirt. If this continues, that they're going to start doing it all over the park. They're selling things in the park, clothing. There were 2 seals down at the beach the other day. There were people bothering the seals. The signs were, the tape was around them. I didn't witness it. I heard it. I don't know what it's going to take, but this has got to stop. There's a sign that's very clearly no motorized vehicles. It's just heartbreaking. I realize HPD is very busy and understaffed, and and I understand that. But the other day, just from my point, from where I live, there were 26 mopeds along that wall. 26. It's getting worse. It hits social media. We get this, but these college kids are just completely, they are taking over this park, and it will turn into an ugly dirt. It's getting bad. Please try to ticket them more. Ticket them. I watched the officers talk to them and be nice to them, which is cool, but no tickets, no monetary hit to these kids. We have to do something because it's getting ruined down there. Right now, there's so many mopeds down there. Anyway, I could go on, and I understand you're understaffed, but if we could get the DLNR down there, because
Okay.
the seals are down there.
Noella?
Thank you very much for
we're-
your time. I appreciate it. Thank
All
you.
right,
very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll send some officers down there to check the park. And also, I did make a notice for the earlier concern with regards to dogs in the park, and we'll have officers go and check also for that, the off-leash dogs. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a safe rest of your month. And with that, we will move on to the ever delightful Kathleen Pahinui with the Board of Water Supply.
You're very kind. Hi, everybody. Hope you all survived the last 2 months. It's been pretty dreadful for a lot of people, so please keep sending your thoughts and prayers to everybody. We still need them. Just want to remind people we are coming up to hurricane season, and that means if we get hit, the electricity goes out, we cannot pump water up to our reservoirs, which means folks that live below the reservoirs are going to have trouble. So we want everybody to be prepared. When we say please have enough water for 2 weeks, please take that seriously, along with food, and don't forget your pets to take care of them and be ready for a storm. We do have still plenty of those lovely 2.5-gallon emergency water jug bags. So when I come back next month, I'll bring a box and share it with you guys. So thank you. Lots of updates. Montserrat, we continue working on replacing the pipeline, and we've been on Campbell Avenue for the last few weeks. We did have one resident over on Montserrat who had concern about a bumpy plate. So what we did is we removed the plate and filled in the hole temporarily for him, and he said that helped with the vibration. So if you have any complaints, please don't hesitate to call me, and we'll do our best to fix it. Chair Welch, we did send you a letter regarding security fencing at Kaimuki Pump Station. Just want to make sure that you got it. And if you had any questions, just to let us know. The Diamond Head Reservoir fencing project. So I checked in, and unfortunately, some of our plants have died because we don't have a permanent irrigation system up there. So I sent one of my team members up there to take a look at it. She's a master gardener. She has her master gardener license. And so she's working with our team to put in more native plants that we believe will be more successful and don't need as much water. And as soon as we kind of get that going again, we will go out. But I've also asked them for more pictures from the community so we can take a look, and I'll send those to you, Chair, when I get those. And then the last, I didn't forget your request about planting trees. I did talk to the Department of Parks and Rec, and they are open to the idea. So now I just have to pitch it to my boss, and I'll let you know how it goes. But DPR is definitely interested in helping us with that. So any questions?
Any questions for the Board of Water Supply? Go ahead, Angie.
Hi, Angie.
Hey, thanks for being here. Where are we with a drought? With all the rainfall that's been happening, are we still in drought conditions?
No,
Okay.
no, we're not in drought conditions right now, but that does not mean that all the rain that fell, and we had enormous amounts of rain that fell. There were over about 50 inches on Mount Ka'ala alone within a less than a 2-week span. But all that water does not go into the aquifer. A lot of it does after a period of time just run off because the ground was so saturated. So we still want people to conserve water. We think that's just a good habit to have, period, because it does preserve our water supplies for now and into the future. But we're not currently in a drought.
Okay, follow-up question. Where are we with I know after the back-to-backs, there's a lot of talk about the saturation of the soil. Where are we at now? Because as we enter hurricane season, for water retention on that?
Well, let me tell you, I live North Shore, so the streams are getting a little bit lower. They are working on the dam, so the dam, Lake Wilson, is practically dry. So that's probably a good thing. That means we have capacity. I think we're okay right now, but I mean, we get a good hard rain, anything's possible. But they've been doing a lot of dredging, so I think things are going to get better.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Angie.
Hi, Kathleen. This is Arlene. I just have a quick question. Do you have any updates on the Red Hill situation?
We're still wrangling with the lawyers, and that's about all I can say. But we're still staying the course, and we're still doing what we can. Yeah, and Ernie did make a trip to DC and is going to be making another trip to DC. So he does meet with people when he's there.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other questions for the Board of Water Supply, then thank you so much,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Excuse me, Chair, I have a question. This
Oh,
is
I'm sorry,
Daisy.
Daisy, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi,
Sorry you
Daisy.
can't see me. This is besides the Board of Water, which is doing a great job. Congratulations to your group and your community to save the mountain, which is sacred, and no gondola for the area because it makes it so crappy. And that is a sacred place. So congratulations to all who worked hard. And we congratulate everyone because we know a lot of us felt the same way too. Thank you.
Thank you, Daisy. And just so you guys know, real quick, House Bill 1881 passed, which prohibits tramways and gondolas. And I also like to give a shout out to Council Chair Waters, who was also instrumental with the council. DPP is still reviewing the permit, but we're hopeful with the new law that just got passed that the governor probably will sign, that will obviate it and we can move on. Thank you. Thanks, Daisy.
Thank you. And with that, we will go to, I don't see Lisa Yamamoto from KCC, but are you here, Lisa? No. Okay, then we will go on to Olivia Storms, who's the Diamond Head Interpreter Center Coordinator. And do you have anything for us, Olivia? Oh, Wayne. Okay, go ahead. Or Olivia?
Hello.
Okay. Hi, Olivia.
Hello,
Go
my name
ahead.
is Olivia Storms. I'm the interpretive technician at Leahi Diamond Head. I was just wanting to inform everybody about an event that we're having this weekend, Kids to Parks Day. It's a National Day of Play, so it's one of our biggest ones that we're having after COVID. So all kids are welcome to come from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon. We'll have activities, local community organizations, about 24, I believe, and they'll get the opportunity to play games, learn educational activities, and have the chance to win a free shave ice. We're also at Leahi Diamond Head, we're holding a lot of volunteer opportunities. We have at least 4 a month, and we're hoping to expand that. We want to invite the community to come because we're working really hard on fire mitigation in the crater. We know it's really important, really dire right now. So we're working on that. We're implementing a fire plan that we got through HWMO, Hawaii Wildfire Mitigation Organization. So we are implementing that right now. But as we only have about 3 permanent staff in the crater, we'd love to have the community come and help.
Thank you. And that information is in our Google Drive. Okay, thank you so much, Olivia. With that, we have public events announcements. Are there parades, races, and similar activities of community interest? Please keep it brief, and we put things in the drive, but we have someone from the American Heart Association, I believe, here today. And online, okay. Is it Demi Duran?
Yes, hello. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you guys. Hi, my name is Demi. I'm with the American Heart Association, and I'm here to invite our annual Heart Walk, Saturday, August 15th. We will continue to work with the Department of Transportation, GP Roadways, and HPD for road closures on Diamond Head Road, and we will continue to have the electric board sign several days prior to let neighbors know to when to expect traffic and delays in the morning of the event. Also, postcards will be sent out to residents nearby, but if you are interested, please join us. It's on Saturday, August 15th. And then more information will be in the Google Drive as well. Thank you so much for pulling this up. Any questions so far?
Thank you, Demi. Are there questions? I think, yes, go ahead, Angie.
Hi, thank you for this. For the areas where there might be traffic affected, when will the roads reopen?
That's a great question. I believe the roads will start to be reopened, I want to say around noon, but I can confirm and get the information back to, I think Curtis or whoever I think we were in contact with. My apologies.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I know we have a couple other people with some upcoming announcements. If you can keep it brief, this is the time to announce any parades or festivals or that sort of thing. Yes, yes, sir.
My name is Ron Reddick. I'm here standing in for Dr. Raj Kumar. He couldn't be here because he went through a medical procedure and asked me to stand in, and I came with Rafia. As you might know, that one of the latest things that's coming up is the Yoga Day Festival that the Gandhi Association does every year. Actually, I'm not on the board, but I'm sort of like you guys. When something happens, I pitch in and help. We know that the big shots come and go, but the work has to be done, and that's what it is. I think the message that Raj wanted me to give to you all is that we are cognizant of the things that happened in communities whenever we give anything. And we want you to know that many of you, we're very deeply appreciative of the support of your organization. Some of you actually appear there, but things get done. And again, I want to say on his behalf, thank you very much for your help for everything that the Gandhi Association does, including the things that are done around the statue. You know, we had some incidents there that were quite unfortunate, but all that has been cured. And again, we couldn't do anything like we do without the help of the community. And we want to acknowledge that to you guys. Thank you very much.
And will there be a festival that you'd like to announce for us, or?
Yes. What is the date of the June 21st is going to be the yoga festival. We do that every year, and it's right down in front of the bandstand. There will be flyers coming out on that. But again, as I said, right, it's the yoga.
It's about the International Gandhi Yoga International Yoga Day in June 21st, 2026 at the Bandstand Kapiolani Park.
Right.
9 to 12 p.m.
Right.
12 noon.
Right. And again, as I said, the thing that he wanted to impress, that we're deeply appreciative for everything that you guys do to make these things come out the way we want. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Do you have any question? Okay. If there's no other community events or parades or announcements of that sort, then we have a community concerns for residents. This is for items not elsewhere on the agenda. Please keep it brief. If you already know that this is for a specific city department, like the fire department or the board of water supply or city officials, please contact them directly, use email or chat, or use the Honolulu 311 mobile app, which is listed on our website. And that said, is there a community concern? Yes, ma'am. Come up.
My name is Della Albalati. I've been making my way to many neighborhood boards, and I was told that I was able to do this. I'm a candidate for Congressional District 1. I've been, again, to many neighborhood boards, Makiki, Macaulay, Ala Moana, Kaka'ako, Wahiwa, Waipahu, Pearl City a number of times, and did I say Waikiki? I wanted to invite board members. I'm hosting a community dinner and talk story on Monday, May 18th at Alawai Elementary School from 6 to 8 p.m. And I'm available for any questions. Again, I'm running for Congressional District 1, running from Hawaii Kai all the way to Kapolei, northern part of Wahiwa, central Oahu, Pearl City, Aiea, Waipahu. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you. And you said Monday, May 21st from 6 to 8 at Alawai Elementary School. Is that right? May 18th. May 18th. Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Representative. Okay. And I think we have some other announcements of a similar vein.
Hi, everyone. I'm Angie Knight here in my capacity as a community member, just to formally announce my candidacy for House District 21. I won't say too much because many of you are frequent members of this board, but if you want to talk later, I am here. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. And I see we have a couple folks online. Laura Ruby, go ahead.
Okay, yes, my 2 minutes. Yes, next meeting, I sent to most of you today by email. I sent a resolution for an inexpensive, quickly realized conveyance across the Alawai Canal, namely a ferry. And what I'd like you to think about is what was it like way back when people had to get across from the Mo'ili'ili area to the Waikiki area, and what were the possibilities of going from one place to another in a way that's easily and convenient. And I'd like you to think the bus system and how convenient it is to go from one place to another. The part that I'm envisioning, and you can look on your email that I sent you, is that would be about the length of a bus, wider, and be both for pedestrians and bicyclists. It would not allow mopeds or any of the motorized gasoline producing vehicles. And it would operate just like a bus with one operator. It would have ramps that go out to the side docking, which would be ADA compliant, and just like the bus as the ramps that come out. And I'm suggesting that there is 1 or 2 or 3 possibilities for places where this could be accomplished. And it would be a very low cost, very easily installed. It would go on a regular. The holo cards could be in place. Visitors would pick up a holo card, day pass, or whatever is possible for them. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what that is. And there are bicycle paths on both sides, walking paths, pedestrian paths, so it wouldn't be limited. And it would not be subject to sea level rise. It would be, obviously, like with the buses, it would shut down in bad weather. And there would be, let's see, there would be regular
Okay,
operational hours of parks. It would be
Laura?
6 to 10. And just think, yes, my time's up. Okay, so please respond next time when I do present it actually, and I'll have some photos so you can see more. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Laura. And I think we have a question from Linda Wong.
I got that file from Laura today and it made sense to me, and I sent it out to several people and it made sense to them. So I encourage everyone to look at that solution. It's very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And I see we have another
Here I am.
question, comment.
I am.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, Laura, I actually received your email. I'm really interested to work on that because I'm from that part of India. I have a lot of water transportation experience. This is really interesting. And we can work with that. Please look at this resolution and make something over there. It's a very interesting part. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I see we have Jason Liang.
Hi, thank you, Chair. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Liang. I'm running for City Council. I apologize, I can't be there tonight. I'm feeling under the weather, but I will do my best to be there next month. So again, I'm running for City Council. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Jason. We look forward to seeing you next month. And I think we have a question from Board Member Metzen.
Thank you, Chair Welch. I'm not sure if my video works at this point. Nope. Anyway, 2 items. The first thing is I've received a serious concern from a Diamond Head constituent regarding artificial stop signs at Noella Street and Pocky Avenue that instruct drivers to stop, but for pedestrians, but there are no pedestrians in the crosswalks when the traffic is approaching, but the cars stop anyway and they get confused because these are not official stop signs. The question is, who directed these signs, which are basically signs, arbitrary signs within the historic landscape that confuse our local residents and visitors to stop when there's no one in the crosswalk. I would like to know if our esteemed Roger Morton, the director of DPS, might be able to create some insight as to who directed the installation of these very confusing signs and what can be done about it. Secondly, because I did not have the opportunity to speak before on this, Chair Welch, do you have any adjustments to the sequence of this agenda tonight, given the priorities? And I believe you received a call from the mayor's office on one of these resolutions.
We haven't had any adjustments to the agenda. It's because we do have a very ambitious agenda, but assuming everyone is moving along like this, we could. Yes, ma'am.
I want to add to that.
You want to add to that?
Okay, I think it's on. I totally agree with Michelle on that. That sign is creating traffic hazard problems. People who don't know, they think it's a stop sign and they pull up and stop. And then the car behind them gets confused. But it's supposed to be if there's a pedestrian on the other side of the street. And I don't know how to make that sign any clearer, but it's not working. It's creating more problems than it's solving right now. Thank you.
Chair Welch, what they need is standard pedestrian warning lights when there are pedestrians in the crosswalk. This is normal regulatory procedure, and we don't know why our park has been impacted by this confusing situation. What I wanted to mention secondly is the adjustments to the sequence of this agenda is a priority to the managing director's office. And he has given a message to our mayor's representative, who apparently was to contact you. Did you receive a call from the mayor's representative on this urgent matter that has been standing in limbo for 3 months without board consideration?
Yes, I did. So what Michelle is referring to, I believe, is there's a resolution about the Kapiolani Park Trust lands. And we have a different 2 resolutions on this. One was presented by the city asking us to adopt their version of the resolution. Subsequent to that, there was a joint committee held on that, which came up with a different resolution, which you have all had a chance to see in the Google Drive for a while now. So Michelle's, I believe, question to us is, do we want to, as a board, advance that first before all of our other business, or do we want to leave it as it is on the agenda?
Chair Welch, I move that we advance it now. I think we have, in light of losing 3 months worth of meetings for the floods, and then we're going to take off this next month. I don't see how we can get done all the business that's really major in Diamond Head District.
I'm
Chair
not
Welch,
morally
I
opposed
second
to
the
it.
motion.
Okay, I'm not morally opposed to it, as long as we don't belabor the issues of all of these agenda items, because we just don't have the time. I think it's pretty clear what's been laid out before us. What's the pleasure of the board? Maybe can we have straw poll here if you are okay to advance the one item about the resolution? Yes,
Our
ma'am.
Are we
motion is
done with
on the
community?
floor.
Are we done with community concerns?
Are we done with community concerns? Yes.
A straw poll does not work. A motion is on the floor. Either ask if there are any objections or call for a vote. Thank you.
Curtis, will you call for a vote?
All right, this is to amend the meeting agenda to move up the resolution regarding the Kapiolani Park lands resolution. Knight,
Yes.
aye. Wong, Bruce Wong,
Aye.
aye. Allen,
Aye.
aye. Murchie, absent. Witherwax, absent. Miranda,
Abstain.
abstain. Welch, abstain. Wasden, absent. Kendrick Wong, absent. Hasina, aye. Velasco, aye. St. Dennis,
Aye.
aye. Matson,
Aye.
aye. Rosman, and Linda Wong. Chair Welch, your board is 15 members, correct? Okay, the 2/3 threshold has not been met with 9 aye votes and 2 abstentions.
I thought it was an 8 that we would need to
8.
carry some. We have 8 at the top of our agendas. Okay, well, with that then, we will move it to the top now. Because of that, we have a report. First of this would make sense to give this first, which is the joint.
It has to be 2/3 to amend the agenda. Robert's rule. Sorry, the agenda, if it's on the agenda, it's in for it.
Then I'll change my vote if I can.
Chair Welch changes his vote, so the motion's carried.
Okay, then with that, what would make sense here is to have a brief joint committee report on the Environment, Parks and Recreation Planning and Zoning Committee about this, which happened on March 3rd. And I believe perhaps, I think our meeting was canceled. We didn't have a March.
No,
or
I know we didn't have a March meeting. Michelle, do you want to give a brief description?
I would prefer you as the lead co-chair, Arlene, to
All right, I will do it.
summarize. And then I will chime in on the legal statistics of
Okay.
this issue.
So, in summary, what the resolution is proposing is that the land that the lifeguards are currently on not get put, the trust does not give that land away. That we keep that in the trust. And there's legal reasons for that. And also it just doesn't make sense to have to keep using that small parcel of land for the lifeguards who really need a much larger space for all their equipment and much better access to roads to get to emergencies quicker. So we think that it's not a good use for the city to take control of that land that's already in the trust. And that's what the resolution basically states.
And also that I think there was a additional part that the city should just transfer those parcels that are in the front of on the beach into the trust, just as a matter of good faith.
Yeah, there was the 2 acres that actually front the Waikiki entrance to the Kapiolani Park. The city has perhaps mentioned that they might want to use that as the lifeguard area, and that would be a very unsightly. I don't think the city really wants to use that entrance into the park and that's currently grass and have large scale equipment there. So it would make sense to put it back in the trust. It was originally in the trust, and somehow through all the different acquisitions, it reverted to the city.
Well,
Chair Welch?
Michelle, go ahead if you can add to that.
Thank you. To expand on that, and thank you, Arlene, an excellent overview for general understanding. Referring to the resolution, ocean safety on Leahi Avenue has been insufficient in size to support a new ocean safety department headquarters, and their requirements for effective operation with 294 ocean safety lifeguards, including 242 full-time lifeguards and 37 contract lifeguards. And later in the resolution, it shows that the parcels should remain as trust lands as they were conveyed, because the trust was never compensated for the lands taken out of the trust in the first place. So in 1998, these lands were conveyed into the trust to compensate and be converted to public park use as stipulated by the court. The city generously has offered 2.21 acres in comparison to these two lots totaling a third of an acre to be placed under the trust in order to take what are now trust lands occupied by the Ocean Safety Department out of the trust. The department is a city use, not a park use, therefore is a violation of the trust. So they want to take these trust lands out of the trust. I mentioned the 1980, there is also a previous 1998 court case that the Kapiolani Park lands transferred in the trust must remain in the trust. And there is a footnote in the resolution with that stipulation. This goes before the city council in their role separate and distinct as from their roles as city council members. They were designated by the court because they are elected and as Kapiolani Park trustees during their tenure as city council members, but their duties are separate and distinct from city council duties, and their duties are set as trustees of Kapiolani Park. From 1998 through 2025, well, let me back up. The City
Hi,
Ocean
Michelle?
Safety Division's use of Kapiolani Park Trust parcels, the two parcels on Leahi Avenue from 1998 through 2025, and the City Ocean Safety Department's requested temporary use of Kapiolani Park Trust parcels on Leahi Avenue would be of consideration for a term-limited additional period of not more than 5 years, as defined by a legal stipulation for the city's Ocean Safety Department to relocate from Kapiolani Park to their new departmental headquarters serving the city. And that headquarters is actually defined at Kewalo Basin by the Hawaii Community Development Authority in 2011, designated the Ocean Safety Facility at Kewalo Basin because it's central to the shoreline from Diamond Head through downtown and beyond, and it's central to the hospitals for emergency situations. The logic is there. I don't believe from what the managing director presented that the city has even considered this, but we have placed a map on the drive showing this determination. And
Thank you,
that's the
Mich-
extent of the summary. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Michelle. Angie has a question for
I
you.
did. I just wanted to clarify because on the drive, there's two different resolutions regarding the ocean safety land swap. I am guessing one was from earlier and one was revised after further discussion. Is that correct? And which one will be?
One is the city's
Correct.
version,
Okay.
and then one is our committee's version. So for
Mr. Chair, to
our purposes.
clarify, the city's
ahead.
version was presented in January, actually in November and January, by the managing director, giving the full history of ocean safety. Yet, the aspects and provisions of the trust were kind of overlooked in that particular resolution, which is also posted as reference. And the committee, the joint committees, reviewed this extensively in detail with the legal provisions and developed the subsequent resolution that is before you for consideration and adoption at this meeting. The managing director is waiting for the board's result, and then we will be meeting with the managing director to further collaborate and find the very best answer for ocean safety as well as for the trust lands, which is actually predefined. Thank you.
So to clarify, the resolution on the table following the joint meeting is the one without the letterhead? Is that correct? The one that starts with the
No.
1917 territory, or is it the?
Whichever one the board wants to.
The
Okay,
board's
thanks,
letterhead
Curtis.
is on the more recent resolution. The numeric or the chronological sequence is on an attachment that is posted, and it says MDF, Managing Director Form B, and initials on it.
Okay, she got a hard copy to correlate with her electronic copy.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion to adopt our committee resolution.
Second.
There's a second. Okay, Linda, seconds. So we have a discussion. Essentially, there's the reason why there's two in there is because the city did give us one first to consider, and it's just was for compare and contrast. But the committee, had its meetings and obviously has done some serious research about this issue and has come up with this. So we have a motion on the floor to adopt the joint committee's resolution, which the head of it is our letterhead is on it, and it says resolution regarding the Department of Ocean Safety's temporary extended use of Kapiolani Park Trust Lands TMK number 3-1-20 026:020 and TMK number 3-1-026:011. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a comment that I'd like everybody to know that anything that has to do with the trust will have to go through the AG's department anyway. So anything with the trust will have to go through the AG, and it's going to be a long, drawn-out process. So I don't think we need to go there. Thank you.
Correction, the AG has oversight over the trustees. The trustees make the independent and separate from their duties as council members. They make certain determinations based on the facts of the matters put before them as trustees. After that, the court considers both the AG's opinion and the trustees' opinion, and the court also entertains verifiable testimony and facts from certain interested parties, such as descendants and nonprofit organizations and other entities that have standing. So yes, this goes beyond the board, but it is an issue that affects the board's district. It affects a very important historic piece of the district. And we are simply following up on the managing director's presentation with additional facts and willingness to collaborate with the city to get this right. Thank you.
Are there other questions or comments for this discussion? Or if you're ready, I'm happy to call for a vote. Is there any public testimony on this? Is there? In person or online? Okay, seeing none, then I would like to call for a vote on this adopting this resolution of the committee. And if you would do a roll call, Curtis, that would be great.
Yes. So this is the resolution regarding the Department of Ocean Safety's temporary extended use of Kapiolani Park trust lands. Recommendation, correct. By the committee. Yes, it's labeled 2026 continued recommendation, correct? Or
That's right.
or the or
Yes.
it's uploaded by Michelle Matson May 7th. Okay.
Well,
got it.
also there
Under
is an
boards we will drive.
attachment. Yes, correct. And there's an
With-
attachment showing the alternative site.
With the
Equality.
attached map with a proposed plan relocation to Kewalo Basin. That will be
Which-
attached to the agenda.
Which the state has already approved.
All right, we will proceed to a vote on this resolution. Knight.
Aye.
Aye. Wong. Bruce Wong. Aye. Allen.
Aye.
Aye. Murchie. Absent. Witherwax. Absent. Miranda.
Abstain.
Abstain. Welch. Aye. Wasden.
Aye.
Aye. Kendrick Wong. Absent. Hasina. Aye. Velasco. Aye. St. Dennis. Aye. Matson.
Aye.
Aye. Rosman. And Linda Wong. Aye. 11 aye votes, 0 nay votes, 1 abstention. Motion carries. Resolution is adopted.
Okay, thank you,
Mahalo.
everyone. And special thanks to our board member Matson and Velasco for having the committees and doing this heavy lift for the research on this. And I know you'll work with the city on
Yes,
this.
we will.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that, everyone. With that, we will go back to our regularly scheduled agenda, and we have a presentation, which is going to be a big chew. This is about the mobility hub that we've got scheduled here by Janet. Is it Minky Lau? And perhaps some other folks there. Just as a heads up on this before you guys even have, we're having a Tuesday, May 19th from 6 till 9. So we're talking next week at Kaimuki High School. There's going to be a larger time here. That's 2 hours for folks to really talk about this more and get more details. We're obviously we're just hearing about it for the first time. There's going to be a lot of questions that are probably going to have to be addressed in that setting. And obviously, this is not going to be the first time we're going to be talking about this before this board. So thank you so much for coming. And if you'd introduce yourselves, we've got your PowerPoint here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair and board members. My name is Mark Garrity. I'm the Executive Director of the Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization. Thank you very much for inviting us. And as you mentioned, there's going to be a community meeting coming up very soon. So we'll keep this very brief. I know that you have a lot of things on the agenda tonight. So we're just going to go through a few slides. I want to give you a quick overview of what the Oahu MPO is first, and then I'm going to turn it over to Janet. And I also want to acknowledge Emily from the Oahu MPO who's working on this study. And I also want to acknowledge Director Morton from DTS. And it's a joint study between the MPO and DTS. So next slide, please. So just real quickly, the Oahu MPO, or sometimes called Oahu MPO, or you might have heard of it as OMPO. Some people call it that way. We are responsible for coordinating transportation planning on Oahu and providing federal dollars for the implementation of transportation projects. Our main mission is to create a long-range transportation plan for Oahu that meets federal standards. Next slide, please. And so the long-range transportation plan, we call it the Oahu Regional Transportation Plan, or ORTP. 2050 is the one that was just adopted by the policy board. It's a 25-year look ahead for what transportation projects we should build on Oahu over the next 25 years. It guides our transportation investments across all surface transportation modes, covers the entire island of Oahu, and aligns investments with community priorities, and ensures that investments are data-driven and fiscally constrained. And it provides a roadmap for future transportation decisions. So it's a years-long process to create this. It's updated every 5 years, and it takes about 3 years or so for us to go through this process to make sure we're getting input from everyone. And you can check out our website to see the version of the document that was recently approved. Next slide, please. And so specifically, we're here to talk about the Oahu Mobility Hub project. And that, as I mentioned, is a joint study being directed by the Oahu MPO as well as the Department of Transportation Services with the help of consultant SSFM. And I'm going to turn it over to Janet in a minute here. I think there's one more slide I'm supposed to look at here. I'm doing this one, right? Yes. So mobility hubs are places where you can make choices. You can think of it as a sort of miniature transit center, a very small version of a transit center where there might be some buses, there could be a bike share, there could be opportunities for ride sharing, there could be other facilities that serve community needs, places for people to gather perhaps or come together to serve the community in various ways. So generally, they're centrally located and they're intended to provide a gap in transportation services. So making it easier for people to get around without necessarily having to have a car. We did this mobility hub study on the North Shore, and we've also doing this one in the urban area as well. So next slide, please. So all right, I'm turning it over to Janet at this point, who's going to talk a little bit more specifically about the mobility hubs that we're looking at here in urban Honolulu. Thank you.
Thank you. Aloha, everyone. I'm Janet Mankilau, here on behalf of SSFM and working with Mark of OMPO and DTS. So what could a mobility hub include? We have some items listed here. First off is community space. We're looking at indoor or outdoor community space. Outdoor community spaces could look like a public plaza, a playground, or perhaps a dog park. We had heard that the community is very interested in having new dog parks in the area. Next is passenger pickup and drop off for ride hailing. This would be for Uber or Lyft drop offs. As we know, many people use those apps now, and also for carpooling and van pooling. So having a designated area for those pickups and drop offs. Really important features would be a bus stops and bus EV charging. As the state is committed to its climate goals, we are hoping to electrify more and more of the buses. And so EV charging for the buses is a main component of this mobility hub. We will be prioritizing pedestrian and bicycling safety, so walkways, pathways. We will connect to the existing shared use path on Kapahulu Avenue, and we will be ensuring that there are safe crossings across Kapahulu Avenue to get to the mobility hub. We want to encourage bicyclists, pedestrians, people using scooters, skateboards, and other micro-mobility accessories, and we hope to have parking for bikes and perhaps scooters, and also have the Biki bike share, which is currently, there are several stations along Kapahulu Avenue. Not listed here is that we are also looking at food options, so perhaps vending machines or a grab and go options, and perhaps also office space for city and county. Next slide, please. So what are some of the benefits of the Urban Honolulu Mobility Hub? It will serve multiple uses. It will serve as a transit terminus, a bus transit center, and it can be a layover area for bus drivers to rest in between their shifts. And then it will promote the EV charging, as I mentioned earlier. It will also be more efficient than the current routing and layover. Currently, the buses are going around the zoo, and they are laying over on Montserrat Avenue. And so we wouldn't need that loop if we had the mobility hub on Kapahulu Avenue. And then lastly, we are really excited to serve the Waikiki and the Kapahulu area so that both residents and visitors can get around easier. Next slide, please. For this study, we looked at many sites we looked at several sites, and we wanted to look at government sites. So we started off with identifying about 8 sites, and we looked at different criteria such as size, who owns the parcels, what is the access and connectivity, like where is the driveways coming off of, what main roads, the proximity to destinations, proximity to Waikiki, was the existing use of the site and high-level infrastructure. What are the land use restrictions? We also looked at climate change risk. Are the parcels on a flood zone or in the sea level rise area? And we looked at acquisition cost and possible road improvements costs. So we scored each of the sites that we looked at, the 8, and then we came up with 2 recommended sites, and the top 2 are the state DLNR recycling site and the Alawai Golf Course site. Next slide, please. So the Alawai Golf Course site is right here. It's the corner area near the Waikiki Library, and it's currently unused, undeveloped, and we have a picture of the current day, and then a conceptual rendering of what the mobility hub could look like. This site is the larger of the 2 sites, being approximately 2 acres. It is located closer to Waikiki. It is flat, which is good. And it is next to the existing shared use path. So linking up to it will be easy. Next slide. The second site is the state DLNR recycling site. It's owned and managed by DLNR. It is currently a parking lot and the RRR recycling drop-off. It is the smaller of the 2 sites. However, it is close to the Date Street shared use path. It is undeveloped mostly. So this is the picture of present day and then what a possible mobility hub could look like conceptually. Next slide. This is our project path. We conducted a site selection alternatives analysis where we ranked all the sites by the criteria. And then we created an existing conditions, opportunities, and constraints memos on the top sites. And now we're at the gathering public input stage, which is why I'm here. We have our community meeting next Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. at Kaimuki High School. And then after our active public engagement period, we will be working on the conceptual site plan, environmental review, and feasibility study. After doing that study, we will come back to the community and come back to this neighborhood board, do another community meeting, and then after that, we will create our final report. And this is our last slide. We want to thank you for your time and attention, and we welcome any feedback that you have. We hope to see you next Tuesday at Kaimuki High School. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you. We have questions for our presenters. Linda?
I have comments. Right now, you know, the traffic starts building up in the morning, and by early afternoon, you can't around here, especially on Kapahulu Avenue. So I don't see how you're adding insult to injury. We already can't go anywhere because we're all packed up in here. And then if you add more stuff, it's just going to be worse. There's nothing here that's going to make anything go faster. It's like you have the Bicky's going broke. The transit center, you're just packing more things in when we can't get out. And it used to be that Montserrat was okay. It had some flexibility. Not anymore. There's no room to put more things and to clog everything up more. So I hope you look at that. And, you know, speaking of spending money, you know, people are doubling and tripling up in their homes because they can't afford it. So we're going to spend more money? I'm definitely against this. Thank you.
Angie?
Yeah, thanks for your presentation. I have one question, a few comments. The first one is, when do you hope to begin the construction? And then when would the new site be online? And then I'll pause before I say my other things.
Sure. So right now, we have not secured funding for this. So this project is only the feasibility study. So we're just doing the study. The next steps will be to secure funding, and then DTS will be working on the construction and schedule them.
Okay. And then a follow-up somewhat related to that is we've had, I think it's similar to a lot of places, a lot of pedestrian incidences, especially along Kapahulu. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, some of the crosswalks were removed with black paint. And so just a comment on this is if you're trying to bring more public transit there, can you please look at safe crosswalks or any ways to make it more visible as people cross the street? I know one of the most notable ones was by Rainbow Drive-In, and that's that comment. And the other one was a question, part of the flood mitigation plan is to flood the golf course. Would that affect this this mobility hub?
So I would need to do more research on the flood mitigation plan. I cannot answer that one. But for the crossing, so that is definitely at the top of our minds. I mean, I was part of the site visit myself and had a hard time crossing. And so we will definitely prioritize the pedestrian crossing, and there might be light changes needed. I mean, also to address the traffic, we will be doing traffic studies prior to any construction, just so that everyone knows, like, if there's a mobility hub here, it's going to bring a lot more activity, and we want to make sure that it's safe for everybody.
I have.
And Laura St. Dennis?
I would like to underline that there used to be a large crosswalk from Rainbow Drive-In to the other side of the street, and people are just crossing now. You know, they look and then just run for it. Not good.
Yeah.
And yes,
Yeah.
Ms. Hasina.
Thank you for presenting that ambitious project. It is really necessity to grow more and develop. Of course, we wanted a smart city, but considering to Laura, Linda, Angie, we are very concerned with traffic congestion and the safety of the pedestrian. Our narrow street, we're going to put all kind of adding this kind of transportation, and what kind of transportation is coming. This is really, we need to know. We are really stuck in traffic right now in Kapahulu. There's a terrible situation. I don't know how will we resolve it. Thank you for the presentation. Please consider it before this. Thank you.
And Ms. Velasco?
Yes, I just want to add to this. Not only do we have the traffic on Kapahulu, but we have a lot of closures of the roads around the park, which really adds to the traffic hub. So I think that, to me, making a traffic hub like at the Ala Moana Shopping Center area where you could have a ride share, cars, and there's a bike path along the Alawai that you could connect to with very minimal structural change. So that's would be my recommendation for this area. Use the buses, use the bikes, from the Alawai, because adding more congestion to streets that are already jam-packed, and with all the closures we have at least, I was looking at the site yesterday, at least one park closure every month, sometimes two. So thank you very much for your work.
And
you very much.
Board Member Matson?
Thank you, Chair Welch. I really don't believe that this consultant has done their research on the legacy of this area. This land is zoned preservation land, and it is a green gateway between Kapahulu and Kapiolani Park. If you put a transit center on that land or beside that land or blocking Kapahulu Avenue, as a lot of people are concerned about, what is going to come next, as one of our board members asked? Is it going to be a shopping center? Is it going to be a connector for buses and Blight Line at the bottom of Diamond Head and the back door of Waikiki? This is highly suspect. And I think our community has every right to protect the legacies, the history, the established community of Kapahulu versus high density traffic and high density development. No matter whether you have buses replacing cars, where are those people going to park to catch the bus? And are we going to have parking lots on our preservation land? Are we going to have a shopping center as an amenity to the transit riders? We've heard this in your presentation tonight. A few vending machines? I don't think so. We've seen this before where proposals are presented that seem very benign, and yet they turn into horrible, horrible things. Look at the Blight Line and their awful rail stations that don't even fit with the history and the culture of our island. What are we doing here to our island? Please reconsider this. Consider the essence and the character and the integrity of the community before you make any proposals like this. Thank you.
And thank you, Laura Ruby.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I'd like to know. I used to live years ago. We used to catch the bus at the Rose Garden, and everything was fine. And there was just a small number of people that would go there. My real question is, in what way is the community going to be served? What's going to be gained by the community who lives there, who actually takes the bus right now? Who are the people that need to have a transit hub right there? Is it tourists that are visiting the zoo, or what is the reason for why it would be necessary, let alone having any parking? And I agree with everything that the people have been saying so far. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Daisy?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Janet. Thank you. Hi, Mark. Just to let you know, this is the area that I've been living here for 50 plus years. First of all, it seems as though more homework needs to be done, because are you talking about the golf course area right outside where across the library, where the Parks Department already has designated that for another usage? That's already, they rejected the dog park there, but they have their own usage for that area. Have you consulted with them? They need to know. And the other part is the recycling center. Who owns that property? Does the state own the whole entire parking lot, or just a small portion of it? Because I think it might still be under the private ownership. Those that need to be, and it's already congested already as is, because you have buses going to UH, buses going to Kapilani, Kahala, etc. through Wildlife area, going all the way up to what's that, Safeway, etc., which is good. But as I said, as I agree that a lot of them are being used by tourists because they go to Safeway with the number 13, or they go up to Diamond Head with the number 2. So our whole community will be impacted. I mean, it's a good idea, but I think it's too small an area to compound additional problems, because when there's events in Waikiki, guess who suffers? It's the people trying to get in and out from Waikiki, because the roadways are always congested and closed. So you need to think of other places that really needs this mobility hub. So our place is just too small. It seems as though you're serving Waikiki, not the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Daisy.
Do you have a response to that one?
You can, it might be, I don't know if you want to hold all the responses, or if you're, because you're getting a
Just-
lot, but as you like, but maybe, Rafia, go ahead.
Just want to say thank you. That's all the presentation. But we are worried about no another rail project that could be a burden in future. So think through before you go. Our character, or our land and the community. We don't want another failed project like rail. This is really burden of us. Thank you.
And I think we got a couple of Franklin. You're here in person.
I just want to make sure that the integrity of the golf course and the access to the golf course would not be affected, whatever happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Franklin. And Board Member Miranda.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you to the presenters. That was an awesome presentation. As someone who commutes to and from work on the bus, lives along Kapahulu, and would like to use the bus for more aspects of my life, I'm super excited about this project. I think it's crazy to
Sure you
complain
are.
about traffic in and out of Waikiki and then be mad that they're adding more buses. So please, well, I'm excited to see you guys on Tuesday first, but please let us know how this board can help to move this project along.
Thank you. And
Chair
comment.
Welch, clarification.
Uh,
Board Member Miranda is an employee of the city, so there is a conflict of interest there.
well, I think he's speaking as a member of the community and as a member of the board. So thank you for that. But I don't think there's any conflict there. I ride the bus too sometimes. So, but Noella, can you go next?
Yes, while it is a good presentation, it's really Miss Matson said it, it's preservation land, and a couple of other people said, Miss Raffia, leave it alone. We have a certain look to the characteristics, but I'm just going to point out the very obvious, along with many other things. That is a highly used recycling center. For years, they're saying recycle, 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 and everybody goes to that one. Sometimes the other ones, people don't show up to the littler ones, but that's a very highly used recycling center that is really servicing this small community from Kapahulu to Mo'iliili, clear on out to Kahala. And we just need to leave that alone. I mean, straight out of the gates, that's a no-brainer. But, if it ain't broke, no need fix. Thank you very much.
Okay. And let's see. I think is there anybody else? Bruce Wong?
Yeah, just one quick comment. This whole area is a floodplain for Kapahulu and Waikiki. And so if you bring in a big facility like they're talking about, I don't know how you're going to still keep it as a floodplain, for all these buses and whatever else they're going to put into it. So that's my one comment.
Okay. And yeah, I just had a couple comments myself. First of all, thank you for coming today. Yeah, obviously, it's a lightning bolt. Whenever you could, it's part of the job, but people appreciate your professionalism. I think one thing that just a little disturbing to me is that the neighborhood board specifically had a resolution to make that into a dog park. And when the city then chained it up and said, oh, no, now it's going to be a sod farm for the golf course, it very much felt like it was just a placeholder for whatever was next, whether it was a Honu Center or a mobility hub or who knows what. But the local concern and wishes of the community here that have already been expressed have not been considered here at all. And I think this is just a problem of the city. You all have stumbled into it, but you've ignored our preferences here to begin with, not you specifically, but in this whole process. And I think a lot of the times the city comes with a fait accompli and this is what we're going to do. And even if you have something, give us your input, ask us, where do you want a dog park? It doesn't matter. Okay, let's have something else. That said, there are other locations that you have not really, I think, considered here that may make sense as well. You did mention along the Shell where not the Shell, but sort of on the other side of the zoo, where buses are parking automatically right now. That might be something where it's just low scale. You could accomplish the same things without, what you're looking at here. Vicky seems to be on life support from what I read in the paper. Having more scooters and skateboards and that sort of thing on Kapahulu, it's a nightmare right now. It's hard to navigate as a pedestrian. And I think some of the comments you hear here are not really your purview, but it's just like people darting in front of the drive-in, right? Because that's not what you all do, but your frustrations are getting that. So it's like the problems that we have right now for traffic, whether it's on Waialae or Montserrat or Kapahulu or down here, just in Waikiki, one of the most dangerous areas in the state, where the buses are parking in front of that it's just dangerous, and we need to address those first. But right, this is P2 land here. I think the one thing that disturbed me the most was your timeline on this. It's like we're going to come back and then we'll give our final report. I think you need to stretch this out and get as much community input as possible here. And Arlene has wisely said, I am over time. So thank you, Arlene, for keeping the time. And you may want to comment on some of these things and remind people
I'm not
about
going to
that.
respond to anything. I just want to say thank you very much. And we are very early in the process. So we're looking forward to, please come to the community meeting. This was a great heads up to us, though, as far as the issues that are important to you. So we really appreciate that. Look forward to seeing you at the Tuesday meeting. And again, yeah, we will absolutely be happy to come back again anytime.
Thank you
Okay.
very
Thank
much
you
for coming. And yeah, I know you were delayed in coming here a few months, so we appreciate your forbearance and cheerful attitude. So we'll look
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing you in the
Aloha.
future and on Tuesday. Thank you very much. Okay, that's a big chew that we're going to be chewing for a while, right? But with that, we have our city and county reports. Again, if you have specific items for the folks that are going to be talking, please use 311 or email them directly. But we will start with our mayor's representative, Mr. Director Crucky. Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you, Chair, board members. Glad to be here after a couple months off. We were kind of down under all-nighters and everything. Hope everybody else got through the storms okay. Highlighting in the mayor's newsletter, in addition to the catastrophic forms, the long-term recovery is on. And so if you have interest in any of those items or questions, go to oneoahu.org, and that's where we consolidate that information. The mayor had planned town halls throughout the spring. He's postponed those town halls so we can work on the long-term recovery. The mayor delivered his State of the City address, and the Honolulu Zoo earned prestigious Association of Zoos and Aquariums accreditation. That was a big deal. Had been held off for a couple of years, so that's really impressive. We bought a building in Chinatown on River Street, so we're going to do some affordable housing there. The 2026 annual sustainability report was released, and we have a new deputy director. Tricia Dang joins the Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency. I don't know if you noticed the announcement, but the managing director, Mike Formby, moving on to the private sector. He has an executive position there. And Krishna Jahan will be the director designate. And designate doesn't mean interim. It means waiting for council approval, right? So he's been tagged for that. And Ian Shearing will be the new managing director. I'd also like to thank you for that resolution. I could take that back and put it into the process on the trust. Going quickly through the different questions, some of these may seem like ages ago, but Diamond Head road integrity, Arlene, she raised concerns about the roadway collapsing nearby Leahi Beach Park back in August, and she was raising concerns about the collapsed land. And can the city inspect and report on their findings on Diamond Head Road? And so DDC, Design and Construction, they did an assessment of that area, and they found that it really wasn't in danger. It was good to fair was their assessment, but they did find, so they don't think collapsing is a potential there. However, they did find cracks were found in the exposed portion of the culvert top slab of Leahi Beach Park. So they're going to investigate that and further get back to you. Emergency shelters, I think you asked that, Angie, and I actually will put some sheets over here on the different type of shelters we had. We really, with the long storms we had and 3 of them like that, we really stressed our shelters, and they're very different than like a hurricane shelter. So that's why I'll have that information over there. We have El Nino coming up this summer, and that's a lot of concern for us. And so we're doing forecasting and meeting on that. And we'll also be bringing some of the service providers into those meetings as we have a lot of folks that are unsheltered and in these storms are very exposed, and we want to take care of them. The volunteers that work the shelters may not be prepared to work with those individuals, and so we're planning how we can have professionals that are ready to deal with unsheltered folks do that. It's also an opportunity. You get them in shelters and say, you really don't want to be out there. Can I help you? Can we do something for you here? So it's also an opportunity. In Department of Transportation Services, Oahe Avenue safety concerns, and can the Honolulu Complete Streets work with the neighborhood board and residents to address safety concerns along Oahe Avenue and in Kapahulu area west of Kapahulu Avenue? Neighborhood board adopted a resolution in December 24 regarding the high traffic and dangerous traffic in that area. So the Department of DTS, and Roger here, our great director there, they are doing a study, and they will study that, and they will reach out to the board chair when they finish that study to give you the preliminary findings there. I looked into the projects that the city has budgeted in this district, and there's a rock slide management on St. Louis Drive that is budgeted at 1.5 million for work there. You got the letter from the Board of Water Supply on the security fencing. There also is a letter on parking on 958 6th Avenue, where they're going to put some no parking signs where there were some issues there, and that letter was sent. And that's what I have for you today.
Wow. Okay. I
Try to get to that quick.
No,
fast.
that was relatively short. I was thinking it was going to be more, but we haven't met for a couple months, so you haven't.
311 is my savior.
Is it?
Put it into C1 311.
Okay, put it in the 311. That's really good advice, and Arlene had mentioned that it really works.
It works. I got a mattress picked up in front of our garden in a matter of days.
If you register, they'll get back to you with the answer.
Yeah, they
Yep.
did. It was
Okay,
great.
and questions for the director? Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for getting back for that. I just have two, I guess, compliments for the city. Yeah. One of them was for the emergency shelters. Thanks for making funding available to pay the service providers that worked at those emergency shelters. That's like one thanks.
Yep.
And the other one, I think it's DFM or it might be DTS, but thank you for quickly acting to get us back the 10th Avenue sign on Harding. I think also Chair Waters' office was working on that as well. So thank you.
Welcome.
Arlene?
Yes, I want to thank you too as for the cleanup around Diamond Head, specifically along. There used to be at least 10 cliff dwellers with trash everywhere. And there's only I went walking last week. I think there was I counted 4, and it was much cleaner. It looked pretty. But we should get those people down. Those cliffs are gonna collapse, and they're putting their lives at risk. And the other question I had is just to maybe let Parks and Rec, Laura Thielen know, we're gonna call an environmental and parks meeting in hopefully the first week of June to go over the proposed changes to the park, such as the volleyball sand courts, the bocce ball court, and the location of the new equipment.
Yeah, let me know when that is, and I'll make sure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And Miss St. Dennis?
I'm not sure who to thank, but the pothole people have really been working overtime because our roads were just a wreck after those 2 storms.
Yeah, it's a never-ending challenge, but
Yeah,
they
never
really
ending,
are after
but
it.
and there were some big ones. So
Yep.
I called and thanked them.
Thank you.
And Mr. Rosman?
Has there been any update with regarding the parking situation on Wynham between Moheao and Honolulu? I think you were forwarding that to do a traffic study. I provided 2 pictures to Curtis and Winston. It seems the parking is eating up the sidewalks. It's eating up each side of the road, and it's becoming unsafe or more unsafe.
Yeah, can you send me an email on that, and I'll make sure it's in their planning process that they're doing.
Sure, thank you.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
And I see online Mr. Swan, Wayne Swan.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for your work. Just quickly, you mentioned that flyer. Will that flyer be included in the minutes of this meeting, so the ones online can see the flyer about the emergency shelters? Thank you.
Yeah, I will leave it here, but you can also go and online and see that on the city website.
Okay, thank you.
And Daisy?
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Director. Thank you for working so hard, and also to great big aloha for our departing managing director, Mike Formby. He's put in a lot of years with the city, etc., helping the community too. And then from next month, he'll be on the private sector. So we wish him lots of aloha and kokua. Thank you from us. My concern
thank you.
is, yeah, my concern has to do with the city's articulated buses. Those on route number 2, March and April, within 6 weeks, I experienced 5 different buses who broke down. Actually, it's 4 buses. One bus could not really get the gear going, but it finally got in. But then 4 of the buses did not work, and unfortunately, we had to change buses. So I understand that the old articulated buses in the 100 series are much, much too old and needs to be replaced. The bus drivers are telling me that they've had so much problems with it. So if that can be arranged, and maybe some of the newer W routes buses can be transferred over to the 2, because like today, it took me 35 minutes before another number 2 bus came by. In the meantime, 3 W buses, 2 8 bus, like Alamana bus came, 2 13 buses came, and 2 E express bus came. So the 2 apparently don't come on time like it used to. So we appreciate maybe one of the W's can be changed to a 2. That would really help, because a lot of tourists do go to Kahala Mall and to Diamond Head Crater. Thank you.
That's good feedback. I will tell you that I know in presentations that I've listened to that the bus has a very diligent replacement plan in place to continually upgrade the bus fleet, but it's difficult, and they do have some old buses out there. They're very aware of that, but they have a very aggressive plan going forward and using both city and federal dollars for doing that. Thank you.
And Noella?
Yeah, hi, Mr. Crooked. Thank you so much for all of your information. I think thanks is in order for the city and county and the state for maybe a lot of you don't know this, but Ms. Velasco's comment about the cliff dwellers on the street I live on, HPD, and I'm assuming that they're in cahoots with city and county and state. They bring their big trucks up there with some pretty heavy looking drones, and they've been mapping out these people that are up there on the cliffs. And if you folks are in on that, thank you very, very much. Our concern on this mountain is fires, especially as we're going into the fire season. So Darlene, thank you very much for bringing that up, because they're here on the street. They were there a while ago. They don't make their announcement when they're going to be there, but they do map it all out. I try to keep it as current. And then lastly, about 2 weeks ago, one of the city buses broke down on the Alawai, and it took many hours. It was closer to the McCully Street Bridge, and it took many hours because it was sort of slanted in 2 or 3 lanes. Anyway, other than that, thank you for everything you folks do at the city and county. Mahalo.
Thank you. I will say that one of the things we've worked on very hard is overcoming jurisdictional excuses where you have land, state and city, and we've overcome that quite a bit. And we've had some joint projects at Fort DeRussy Park and out at Cay Lagoon and the beach, the people that are on the waterway, and we're going to continue that on Diamond Head.
Okay. And are there any other? Okay, I did have a couple questions. You said I misheard you. I think you said the managing director designee is going to be Krishna,
Yes,
and Ian Shearing is
Ian Shearing will be his deputy.
he would take Krishna's place then. Okay. Yeah, as Daisy said, please convey our board's thanks to Mike Formby for, his excellent public service. And please don't get any ideas about leaving us in public service either from his idea. I just wanted to reiterate that, Eddie, just talking of jurisdictional issues. Honolulu Fire Department has to respond to fires probably that are on Diamond Head. Can we talk about getting goats in to eat the brush? I don't know if you saw the article in the newspaper. It was a couple weeks ago.
They're part of the conversation as well. Absolutely.
I mean, that would be, it seems like a common sense thing, but the one question I did have is I appreciated like the Ompo people coming here beforehand, and I've raised it before, but if the departments inside of the city are thinking of doing work, whether it's 5 years or 2 years or 2 months, if they can come before us for presentations just to get our ideas way in advance, that's to build so much community trust. Even if we may not like it, it gives us an idea. Like, but I was curious about the whole process. What does our board represent when we say we would like a use for this blank piece of land? I mean, you may not have an answer now in the front of the golf course after we spent years getting rid of the blight that was industrial equipment from Hawaiian dredging or whatever it was, just to have it then be put into this sort of holding pattern, and then, okay, here's what we're actually going to do.
Well, I know you lost that one, and it's irritating to you that you did, but you don't lose them all. Believe me, your opinion does matter, and the resolution you worked on there was specifically asked for to go into the process for making that decision. The dog park thing just didn't work out. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, the golf course, they felt, it was their land. It was given back to them from parks. But originally it was in parks because with parks you had rules. So when I say that, like, there's certain things you can't enforce in certain places, and they were worried about unsheltered people in that area, and parks has rules, right? Closure laws and things like that. And then it kind of got in a limbo with all that construction stuff that was there. But anyway, that's the way it worked out.
Yeah, I just was curious as to how it morphs then from needed sod area to maybe now bus depot, when the alternative that we'd been considering sort of just gets marginalized or sidelined, or it feels like that anyway. And I think
I'm
you
going
can
to leave
appreciate
some things here that were the announcement of the dog parks that were being put out that also has information about going forward, how you would do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And as your announcement about hurricanes and shelters and all that, and after our storms, I would like to ask our Public Safety and Disaster Committee Chair Knight to call maybe a special committee meeting so that we can understand, where do we go? Is this building one of the buildings? Is it, what do we know? Like, if we really actually have a disaster in this area, where we're supposed to go, how we're supposed to respond, and that sort of thing. So maybe the city could help with that.
If you let me know when that committee meets, I can come and brief them.
Anyway, we sincerely appreciate you coming, and thanks again for your dedicated public service, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good evening. And with that, we have our council chair, Tommy Waters, in person. Welcome, Chair Waters.
Hello, members. Good evening. Just wanted to point out that our longtime city clerk retired, Glenn Takahashi. I'm not sure if any of you ever had the opportunity to work with Glenn. He was fantastic. So the city council is creating a permitted interaction group to select a new city clerk. So if you folks know anybody, send them our way. Also, we're looking for a new city auditor. Auditor Arushi Kumar, who had ailing parents on the mainland, so she left the city. So we're looking for a new city auditor as well. And we're going to create a permitted interaction group to find a new city auditor. We're also looking for nominees for the Youth Commission. So through a charter amendment, we created a youth commission to advise the city council on issues dealing with young people. And to qualify, you have to be between 14 and 24 years old. Asa Shimizu, who was my appointment, got accepted to Brown University. So he'll be leaving us on the youth commission. So there's an opening. So you have to live in District 4, which is from Hawaii Kai to Waikiki. So if you folks know anybody from 14 to 24 who wants to serve on the youth commission, it's fantastic. It really is. They serve just like a city council, where they debate issues, come up with resolutions and bills. And yeah, so if you know anybody who's willing to do that, that'd be great. I know Michelle Manson talked about a stop sign on Paki. I'll go down there and take a look at it. I wasn't aware that there was a stop sign there. I looked at it on my map, right? And there's one coming down from Noella, right? So you have to stop there to take a right or a left on Paki. But I couldn't find what you folks are talking about. So if you folks could clarify that, that'd be great. I also got a presentation from the Department of Transportation and OMPO regarding the bus. So it really would be great if you folks can actually weigh in officially one way or the other and have some input in that. Two things that I saw that may help this today. Today, we were talking about where to put the lifeguards. One, you could put them there. And they're open to a dog park right there. So just a thought. I haven't taken a position one way or the other on this, by the way. And it looks like this is 6 or 7 years out anyway. That's just how long these things take. But if this does happen, then push for that dog park to be right there. Just a thought. Anyway, I'm available for questions.
Okay, yes, we have some questions from Miss St. Dennis.
Okay, the sign is, about that, by that. But what it says is, it has a stop sign, and it says, just like a stop sign, and it says stop for pedestrians with an arrow, because the stop sign is across the crosswalk is across the street. It's confusing.
I know there's a crosswalk right there.
Yeah.
Is it on the
There's-
high side of Hockey Ave?
Yeah, it's on like the lighthouse side of the street from where Pakihale is, and then crosswalk, and then the signs over here.
Okay, I'll go down there and take a picture of it and then
Yeah.
figure out who put that there.
It's a good idea because people don't always stop at stop signs anymore. And I like the idea, but it's too confusing.
Okay.
Okay, and Linda Wong.
Hi, good to see you here.
Hi, good to see you.
There's a house on, I think it's on Noella, it's behind Puale Circle. I just wrote you an email. And it's bright yellow and it's got 3 stories in Diamond Head Special District. And a friend of mine, she's a professor at the UH, has been trying to get DPP to do something about it. And they tell her that they can't do DPP can't do anything about it. Now, if DPP can't do anything about it, who can?
Is this a house that was already built?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Well, it could have been maybe a smaller house and they revised it or something. I think it's on 2222 Noella Avenue.
I'll go by and take a look.
Yeah, because if they can't do anything, I mean, it's an eyesore. It's ugly, you know.
Are you complaining about the 3 stories or the yellow color?
The 3 stories. I know the yellow color is probably parapet for being painted.
Yeah, no,
But-
because 3 stories is not acceptable.
No, it's in Diamond Head Special District,
Right.
and it's really an eyesore. So I really appreciate that.
Okay.
I'll firm up the address.
Maybe you and I can meet there and take a look at it
That'd be
together.
terrific.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Sure.
And Board Member Matson.
Thank you, Chair Waters. City Council Member and Council Chair Waters, it is truly an honor to have your attendance in person tonight. We have missed you, and as you know, a lot of questions have come up this evening regarding the so-called stop sign that is going east to west on Pocky Avenue. It is not the stop sign on Noella. So as you go along Pocky, going toward Waikiki, you come to this makeshift stop logo with an arrow pointing down saying pedestrians, but no pedestrians are there, and everybody stops and scratches their heads and wonders if they're going to get a ticket for this unofficial stop sign. Anyway, next issue, the DPP and the 3-story so-called house. The yellow color is probably a dense glass underlayment for stucco. If it is 3 stories, it has to go by the building envelope. I did speak with the DPP inspector for Diamond Head today. She happened to have come to my house to clear a legal permit, and she didn't know about this. So I have her contact information. I will send her the email that we received about this to see what she might have to say as well. If you need her information, I'll be happy to share it. The lifeguards, I wasn't clear what you had suggested. The Department of Ocean Safety is not a legal use of trust lands, and they happen to be on trust lands. This was discussed earlier, and also of great benefit and assistance is that the Hawaii Community Development Authority approved in their 2011 master plan for Kaka'ako-Makai a lifeguard facility of 4,000 square feet. And they also have their watercraft at the Harbor Masters building in Kewala Basin. They have offices there now. And to have this building for them right in the center of the whole shoreline between Diamond Head and downtown and beyond, and central to the hospitals, would be of great advantage and benefit. So our resolution has an attachment showing the map, and the resolution was adopted tonight, and we'd love to share it with you and speak with you about it as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Just to clarify, the stop sign on Paki Avenue is going towards the Alawai. Yeah,
Yes.
if you're saying from east to west, it's going towards the Alawai, so it's on the right-hand side of the street. Okay.
Yes, between Diamond Head Road and Alawai Boulevard.
And then what you're pointing out about the lifeguards in Kakako makes perfect sense to me. We have a building there, but it's currently leased out to Kupu, I believe. But that would be a
Correct.
perfect spot right there.
Well,
Yeah.
there is a location on state land that was designated for a lifeguard facility in the master plan. It's a no-brainer. It's there. I spoke with the executive director of HCDA. He confirmed it was state land. I spoke with Lindsay Doy, who is very knowledgeable with HCDA. I encourage you to contact them and really work something out, because this would benefit the lifeguards, the ocean users. It's ideal. And their little miniature parcels along Leahi Avenue, which is already a narrow residential road, are totally insufficient, and they are trust land. So we want the Ocean Safety Now Department to have the greatest benefit for their assistance, their life-saving assistance for the larger public. Thank you.
Thank you. Good idea.
Okay, and Angie?
Yeah, this is kind of towards you and also to Director Morton. I know we're having a resolution about Bus 200, but I was curious if you would be willing to introduce a riser regarding Bus 200 to look more into the rerouting of it. And I don't want to take up too much more time because I know there's a resolution later on the agenda and there's multiple presentations, and the ladies behind you would gladly tell you more.
Okay.
But just a request.
No, I've been following. I do want to defer to Director Morton. But thank you.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you so much for coming tonight, Chair Waters.
Thank you, Chair. Good to see you.
Okay, and with that, we will move on to Councilmember Scott Nishimoto's office, and I think, did I see Kylie online?
Hi, good to see everyone. Hello, Chair. Hope everyone's doing well. Long time no see. Hope everyone stayed safe during the storms. As of right now, council's pretty busy with budget season, so that's just been council members' main focus as of late. So once the budget's all finalized in June, we'll have more specifics to share about that. But for right now, if anyone has any questions for St. Louis Heights, just please feel free to let me know and or email us, give us a call. I've already popped the info for our office in the chat, all the contact information, but thank you.
Thank you, Kylie. And Board Member Melton?
Yes, I'm sorry. Maybe this question would have been better for Council Chair Waters. Is he still at the meeting?
Yes.
All right. Well, it's for both Council Member Nishimoto and Council Chair Waters. We've received a report that the City Council trustee, the Kapiolani Park trustees, separate and distinct from the City Council roles, have no chair of the trustees. The
No,
chair
thank
has
you.
not been appointed. Please let us know what's going on here.
As you accurately pointed out earlier today, that all the city council members are trustees. And Councilmember Nishimoto is brand new. I appointed him as the International Relations and um, uh, the ILA committee, basically, which is in charge of the Kapiolani Park Trust. So I'll have a talk with him. He's actually the chair. And the reason why we do it that way is that's the only committee in the city council that has all 9 members on it. So Parks Committee has 5 members, right? Planning and Zoning, 5 members. Budget has 6, but his committee has all 9. So that's why it just makes sense for it to be there. But if you need anything, I'm happy to work with you folks and work with Councilmember Nishimoto.
Yeah, that's a perfect solution. However, we've gotten word from his office and also Council Member Dos Santos Tam's office that neither are chairs of the trustees. So it's a little confusing, and we've got this Kapiolani Park trust issue coming up. Hopefully, to work collaboratively with the managing director's office, but also with the trustees, and eventually some of us will be communicating with the AG as well as the court with our standing. So I think everybody working together on this will find the best solution, and we really appreciate your support.
Yeah, no problem. I'll talk to Councilmember Nishimoto, and then ultimately it's in my district, right? So if he doesn't want to do it for whatever reason, we could do what's called a committee of the whole and then have meetings there. But would be a whole separate hearing. It's just easier if it's in his committee. So I'll talk to him. But again, you can always reach out to me. Not a problem.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for that clarification. Are there any other questions or comments for Kylie? Yes. Yes, Mr. Andrew, come on up.
Hello, my name is Andrew Pomsavon. Hi, Kylie. I wanted to flag something. I've been speaking with community members, and speeding on Allencaster seems to be a really big issue, especially because the roads are so narrow to where the cars need to move into the sides to let other cars through. Both Bertram and Allencaster are the straight up roads up St. Louis Heights, and more so Allencaster would be kind of where most of the speeding does happen. So if we could put a request in for speed mitigation there, or even a speed study, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. I think we might actually already have a riser in for this. I will double check, but if we don't, I'm happy to put in another request for some speed mitigation there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks, Kylie. Have a good rest of your month, and we look forward to seeing you in June.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, I don't think we have Ed cases, but I think most of us get his newsletter. With that, we'll move on to Ryan Aguilar of the governor's office. And I see you there, Mr. Aguilar.
Aloha, Chair. Aloha, Board. Good evening. Yeah, I have put, or I will put the governor's newsletter for May in the chat, a link to that, as well as some information. I'm not sure which board member had mentioned something about the monk seals on Kaimana Beach, but I just some contact information there in the chat as well for that. And the newsletter for May kind of focuses on a lot of the kind of past recent storm events and some of the things that governor and state departments are doing to help provide information and recovery efforts in support of communities statewide. But I'm happy to take any questions back to the governor's communications team that you may have. Thank you.
Okay, and questions for Mr. Aguilar, Linda Wong?
Hi. It's hard for me to talk to a blank screen, and we'd really like to be able to get closer to you and everyone. And if the people that speak online or come to the meeting, if they could please put on their cameras, that would really help us, me in particular. It's a request.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Matson?
Oh, thank you. Sorry, Linda. The technology doesn't seem to be working here. I have to look into it. Otherwise, I would. Brian, thank you so much. We were so disappointed that the Ways and Means Committee at the very end decimated the green fee bill. And we were counting on such good things happening with it. Also, there were other issues, but then there's this Kilauea District Park that is part of a bill to be converted to Department of Education, where the park will now be under the Department of Education's rules to be closed after school hours, which people are really upset about. We're getting this online. It's not part of our district, but I just wanted to bring that up to convey to the governor and to thank him very much for his honoring Oliver and Oliver's cat Phoenix at the Waikiki Yacht Club when they sailed over from I guess it was Oregon single-handedly. What an event, and I really want to thank him for being there as well. Aloha.
Thank you. And Arlene?
Yes. Hi, Ryan. I would like to ask a question of the governor. The Jill Dakota, she went and visited the prison facility where our immigration, supposedly illegal immigrants are being housed. And she found the conditions pretty deplorable. Lack of sunlight, lack of interaction with other human beings. Some of these people have been in there for almost a year. And I would, as a physician, I would think that the governor would be very concerned about the conditions of these people that have been, I believe, illegally detained in these prisons. So I'd like to know what his position is on that. And if he has a position, I'd like to know what it is.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Are there other questions for the governor? Daisy, go ahead.
Hi, thanks, Chair. A quick question regarding the pedestrian bridge on Alamona Boulevard by Kewala Basin. Is it open? Because I don't see people crossing or using it, and it did cost $26 million. So I don't know, is it ready to be used, or are there other factors? Because I don't see people using it at all. So I have a question. Thank you.
I will take that back. Thank you so much.
Okay, then there you go. We see Ryan now. Thank you very much, Ryan, for your report and taking those things back to the governor's office. And with that, we will move to Stanley Chang's office. Is someone from Stanley Chang's office here? We do not see so online. And with that, Senator Ihara, I do see you there. So welcome, sir.
Good evening. I see there's some talk about some state issues tonight, being neighborhood board, mostly city issues, but I can give you a brief report on the state legislature. We did adjourn on time. We did a budget. There's some issues about, Michelle mentioned green fee and so forth. The governor's now reviewing all the bills. In fact, I think he signed some today. And by the end of June, the governor is required to give a list of bills he might veto. And then in the second week of July, early July, the legislature could go in without a call, just show up and decide to override any bills, which is quite rare on an election year. It's quite rare ordinarily, but it's even more rare on an election year. The Senate, and I'm not sure if you have questions about the Senate also, we have additional functions other than passing legislation. We confirm the judges and the boards and commissions and so forth. The Senate may go in by itself this interim for some judges. There's I think a circuit court judge and a district court judge vacancy that if it gets filled in time, then we have 30 days once they're named. We'd have 30 days from the governor's appointment to confirm. Otherwise, they automatically are confirmed. And this Senate doesn't let judges get confirmed by automatic. And then in summary, this session, for me, this is my 40th year. I'm now getting into my elder role because I think by far the longest serving. You saw Representative Bellotti and someone else that retired after 20 years. I have 40 years, so it's been a lot. And I'm now getting into my my role to provide memory. I have memory of over 40 years. Plus, I was there at the Constitutional Convention. So much of my work nowadays has been to explain how we are constitutional officers in the legislature, and the judges and the governor, and we are all to work for the Constitution, which has values. Our Constitution, of all the 50 constitutions, our Constitution is the most valued-based Constitution of them all. We installed in 1978 a whole series of kingdom values of caring for the environment, caring for the land, the water, for each other, having a healthy environment, respecting indigenous gathering rights and so forth. I think for me, the next step for me as an elder from transitioning from the baby boomer generation to the baby boomer generations, actually, I'm near the beginning. My father, parents, their generation, they created the global institutions of the day, United Nations, global finance and so forth, and they've all gone. So most of them who've been there 80 years ago have passed away. And now I have, in a way, the duty of reminding people of what went on. And so I'm now beginning that role. So you'll be hearing more about from that perspective from me. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, sir. And we have a question for Senator Ihara. We look forward to your wisdom coming forth even more, and thank you for your decades of service to our community.
Thank you.
Okay, and I hope you get some rest after this session is over. I think probably Carol Fukunaga's not here today. Again, we put her there because she has a tiny bit of our Neighborhood Board 5, as does Andrew Garrett. I did see Tina Nakata Grandinetti online, so welcome, Tina. Aloha.
Thank you. Sorry, I was rushing from an event with Hawaii Appleseed celebrating some of our wins this session, so I couldn't make it to be there in person today. But I want to share end of session updates. You know that at the beginning of session, I talked a lot about the challenges that we were facing, at the hands of the federal government, federal cuts to Medicaid and SNAP, a massive state budget shortfall, elimination of Native Hawaiian programs. Since session started, skyrocketing fuel and energy costs, all of these things were on our plates. And of course, threats to our civil liberties and the threat of ICE in our communities. So now that the session is over, I've worked at the legislature for 5 sessions now as a staffer and now, or as a rep. And this is the first time where I felt like we really did a good job at responding to the moment. I think in the face of this massive budget shortfall, we did very important work at making sure that we preserved our social safety net, and we avoided very destructive cuts to departments, which were realistically on the table when we started. We did this all while providing tax relief actually expanding tax relief for working class and middle class families. And we did this by asking the very wealthiest in Hawaii, the top 0.36% of earners, to pay a little bit more on income earned over $1 million. I'm actually very proud that that was an idea that I had floated in a bill at the beginning of session that ended up making its way into our tax income bill. We also had some other wins. We made meaningful progress on long-term care. I'm sure many of you are celebrating today that the governor signed into law our bill to challenge Citizens United, which was huge. It's a first in the nation effort. It will probably face legal challenges, but that is the point. We're trying to push back and reclaim power for the people. So I'm incredibly proud of our legislature for taking a bold step in that direction. We delivered emergency funding to preserve Native Hawaiian programs after the federal government pretty much eliminated them wholesale. And we made massive wins on laws to protect our immigrant community and protect the rights to due process for everybody in our communities. For me, one of the bigger disappointments in our income tax bill was that we also eliminated very significant and popular tax credits. One of them is our renewable energy tax credit. And I know, we have some folks on the board who are very passionate about our environment, like I am. And so this is, it's pretty destructive. It's going to set our solar industry back, and it's going to set us back on our climate commitments. And it was just one of those things that it ended up being a casualty of our budget shortfall and kind of this debate over, like, do we cut or do we generate revenue in new ways? So I'm really disappointed about that one. But overall, my big picture is that we did some great work this legislative session. My only other update, Michelle Matson brought this up in her question, I think, to the governor's office. It's not relevant to our district, but actually it is, because I think a lot of people in our district utilize Kilauea District Park. There was a bill that is on the governor's desk now that was meant to transfer certain city parcels to the Department of Education. It includes an amendment to transfer Kilauea District Park from the city to the DOE. The amendment language was, I think, intended to help funnel state money to address some of the deferred maintenance needs at this very popular and well-utilized park. But it has raised very serious red flags about whether it will disrupt all of the amazing classes, sports leagues, fitness classes, Mahjong club, all of these things that happen at the park. And so I'm working, not just me, other legislators and myself are working with the governor's office, the mayor's office, the DOE, and the Parks Department to clear up this issue, prevent the transfer, and make sure that none of those services are interrupted. The DOE, which was supposed to be the receiving entity, has said that they do not want to follow through on the transfer, and we're working on formalizing a statement from the DOE to the city to clarify that. But yeah, a lot of people in the community are very concerned. I have heard those concerns. I just went to the park this morning and hung out with the Mahjong Club. And it's like my biggest priority post session. I'm very optimistic that we're gonna resolve it pretty quickly, but I just wanted to also address that since Michelle brought it up. And that's all for me. And here for questions.
Okay, thank you so much for clarifying that as well and preempting some questions on that. So if it's a question for the representative. Yes, Ms. Wong.
Yeah, thank you. I, I've looked for a place to ask this, and I think it might fit now. We have a detention center here. Is there anything we can do to get rid of it?
That's a good question. I think that we've had that conversation with Congresswoman Tokuda, and I think we had a couple bills around making sure that additional state facilities are not used for detention centers. But the current detention center, I believe, is a federal prison, so it's already in federal hands. So we can prevent additional lands from being used for those purposes. But I don't know how effectively we can challenge the use of that federal property. But I heard the question earlier about the governor's position on, how detainees are being treated in that facility. And I will share that when the last time Congresswoman Tokuda came to visit us at the legislature, we did make an explicit request. It was Representative Capella who made the request to invite legislators to the next site visit so that we could see, because some of us have constituents who have been detained. So I will be happy to follow up on whether that's possible, but I really appreciate you asking that question because, this is an issue that's impacting families in our community now. So we all need to pay attention to it.
I would really like to stay current on it, and if you could do that for us, I would really appreciate it.
Great. And I want to reassure you that we made, I'm not on many of the committees where these issues come through, but I have been, working closely as an ally with the Hawaii Coalition for Immigrant Rights, and just went to their end of session debrief recently. They made very significant progress in protecting due process for our immigrant community and for all citizens. And there's always more work to be done. But I think what the work we did this session puts us at the forefront of states in the nation in terms of standing up for those kinds of rights.
Thank you.
Okay. Seeing no other questions, I appreciate you coming, of course, always. We appreciate you coming very much, and thank you for your dedicated public service. And we hope you have a good rest after the legislative session is over. So have a good rest of your evening. Okay, and
you
just
too, Chair. I know you work hard during session too. Thanks.
okay, so just a time check here. It is 8:25. We've got 3 resolutions in front of us, as well as a few other people that may or may not be here. I don't see Jackson Sayama, but is he online or here? Nope. Mr. Olds, Representative Olds is off in here and not, and I don't think Mr. Garrett is here. So this is okay. A couple things. This agenda is a little bit different this time, just to reflect some different priorities. Please send anything you want to me and to Curtis. Our next meeting. So next meeting is it Kamehameha Day? And that is a holiday. So what isn't here is that the mayor has a town hall here. No. Oh, he canceled. Okay. And that's why it's not on the agenda. This room is busy. Do we want to try and find another room, or are we okay to recess until July? Yes, ma'am.
Feel very adamant about this. We missed 3 months of meetings as a quarter when the governor or the mayor shut everything down because of the floods. Kept us safe, so that's good. But continuing to do that, I know we had a lot of concern that, if we didn't meet in December, something would come up that we might miss. So I think we should get together, and I think we need to meet because there's too many things going on with the trust and really important issues.
Committees can meet during this time, of course. Is it, and thank you for that comment, do we, just by a show of hands with the folks here, who would like to research another site for a meeting? We can't do it on that day, though. We'd have to find another day at a private place. Oh, no city place. Okay. And that's probably going to be the same for state places like this.
Question for Curtis. Because it is a city and state holiday, does that mean that there's also no neighborhood assistance that day as well? Okay. Just to clarify. So it's not just finding a new place, but it's also having all the support cannot happen on that Thursday.
I totally appreciate what Linda's saying, which is why we meet in August and December when a lot of shenanigans happen. This year, it was weird that we had two canceled, but okay, then take them up with committees. If we have a committee like Angie might do with the Public Safety Committee or an Environmental Committee, and also Margaret's not here, but I would like her to bring up a traffic and committee just to identify the hot spots in our neighborhood for traffic safety and keep DTS in active engagement because that's things just slip through. So maybe let's just focus on committee meetings and for that next time. And
Chair Welch,
yes, ma'am.
respectful suggestion that the Transportation and the Traffic and Transportation Committee really needs to get up to speed. We just had a presentation on a project that's highly controversial that will impact our community district, specifically Kapahulu Avenue and the gateway to Kapiolani Park and Kapahulu. So we need to get the chair, who I understand is away, far away on a trip. We need to get the chair re-engaged, or perhaps is there a vice chair of the Traffic and Transportation Committee?
There is not, and I think we'd have to put that on the agenda if we were going to consider that. Is that right, Curtis? Is there somebody who would like be a co-chair of this committee or stand in for? I think Margaret would welcome some help, honestly. And maybe if not, then contact me and we can talk about this later. I will contact Margaret and see if we can't get something there as well. And we are with that, and thank you for that suggestion, Board Member Matson. With that, we are at 8:30. So we have a couple more things on here. We're not going to go into this tonight, but in the Google hard drive, the city has, the Neighborhood Commission Office has asked us, this is board business A3, to look at our board boundaries, neighborhood board boundaries, which is like, I don't know if they've done it before, but it's the first time that I've seen it in a long time, if they have done it before. Where do we want to, if we want to adjust the neighborhood board boundaries, as well as inside of the neighborhood boards, do we want to make any adjustments? And just as a teaser, St. Louis Heights Association sent me an email saying they feel more connected to Kaimuki and they want to join with the Kaimuki Neighborhood Board, which is interesting. And on some level, I understand that, right? And I don't know how these original communities were decided, but these are discussions we have to have. So I would like to call, maybe the Zoning and Planning Committee could hold a meeting on this so that we can discuss this as a board as well. I would like to have a inter-boards with Kaimuki, with Pololo, with Waikiki if needed, Mo'iliili, and Kahala to see if they are interested in shifting their borders as well. This could be a number of many different things that we really don't have time to go into now, but those are the things. So as our planning and zoning chair, would you be willing
Chair
to hold that?
Welch, as the planning and zoning chair, I strongly suggest that this become an executive committee issue because it concerns the entire board and the redistricting of the board based on a request from another neighborhood board. And it's really up to the St. Louis Heights elected representatives to our community district to weigh in on this. Perhaps there needs to be a special committee or a special meeting, but planning and zoning really is a little bit removed from the decisions of sub-districts and where their constituents want them to be.
Okay, so shall we make an ad hoc committee to deal with this issue then as a committee of the whole? Is
I
that
think
what
the
you're
St.
suggesting?
Louis Heights board members should take the lead on this as it affects their district and their constituents, and they may see value in this proposal. We
Well,
don't
yeah.
know.
Well, I believe all of us should look at this because we may want to extend our borders and take over, for example, all of the parks around Diamond Head. What it stops right now after the lighthouse. Does that make sense for us? Because we deal with Cool Lake Cliffs a lot. How about Kaimuki? Does it really end at the freeway?
Cool
Those-
Lake was
those-
there's a boundary with Kahala.
Right,
And
yeah, I know.
Kahala
And
has
I don't
weighed
want to
in
get into
on
the
our
specifics
issues.
because we don't have time. So but your suggestion about a committee,
Over there.
yes, ma'am.
Hi, Angie, St. Louis Heights Subdistrict. I think what the chair is trying to suggest is that outside of this meeting, he convenes with the other boards and we form a joint meeting. However, that may shape up for whatever community takes the lead. But the St. Louis Heights Community Association has reached out to Julia and myself and has briefed us on their opinions, and we will happily represent it. But I think that is the point for the sake of time. Thank you.
Right. So let's look at forming a committee. I don't think there's any emergencies in this. I think that we just need to form a committee and talk amongst ourselves and the surrounding neighborhoods to see what makes sense to best represent our constituents. Yes.
I just sort of like, I went to a neighborhood commission meeting, a couple of them. I'm going to go to a couple more. And they said something about they should know when things are changing with the districts, not the neighborhood office, but the neighborhood commission.
Right. This is going to the neighborhood commission. So, and I think Samuel went to that, and hopefully we'll have time to get to that. But basically, we will be forming a committee then to deal with this. And I don't think there's any emergency on this, but I think it's long overdue. I have an honest discussion about this. So that just a heads up that something will be coming in here shortly.
Sorry, Chair, to clarify, they requested resolutions in April, but we had 2 rained out months. So it is not an urgency, but it is sooner than later. I am a commissioner. That is my disclosure.
You are looking for something right now? Is that what you're saying?
Not right now, but the request for the resolutions was April, but there is understanding given the circumstances that we all faced for the delay of it.
Okay.
But because it is a long drawn out process, right now the neighborhood commission has requested neighborhood boards to discuss with neighboring neighborhood boards about the redistricting and then present that as an option to the commission to review, then goes to court counsel, then goes to the city for approval. So it is a long process. So they don't want to draw it out too long in the beginning.
Okay.
But we can take our time because this is a big deal.
Okay. And is the neighborhood commission, maybe you don't know this, but are they looking for us as individual neighborhood boards to give them their suggestions then?
Ideally, neighborhood boards talk to each other when they want to give boundaries moved over.
Okay. So we will form a committee to deal with this.
And our chair is here for the neighborhood commission if you have more
And our
questions.
chair is here. Okay. Very good.
Hey, Patrick.
Okay. Yeah. Patrick, maybe you want to come up and briefly tell us because we do have a couple of resolutions to get through.
I'll be brief. Patrick Smith, I chair the neighborhood commission, and yeah, the April deadline was just set because we just wanted to get some input and have some finality. I will let you know it is a lengthy process, so if we want to get everything set before the election for 2027, it takes a while to get going. I will give you an extra alternative too. Is we have some areas that they actually want to share, like parks and specific, actually this comes out with Coalina. So some development, And so we're kind of considering the ideas of like spheres of influence or memorandums of understanding where each board can sort of take ownership. We really can't have them share ultimately. There has to be distinct boundaries just for election purposes, but that's just an extra idea. But yeah, it's no big rush, but just keep in the back of your mind that it is a lengthy process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And it's long overdue. So thank you for that. So this is more news coming on this, but this is sort of hot off the presses. We did that first action item. Moving on to supporting bus route 200 changes. We've had a lot of talk about this over the years. Very amazing, professional, informed discussions on this. I think most people understand what we're looking at, but if you can give us the high-level executive super summary, then that would be great. And then we can consider the resolution discussion on it.
Thank you so much. If Curtis, if you could put up the map, first map, the one that shows the current bus 200 route. So we've been working on this for a year and a half now, our transportation committee and Kamiki, as well as your transportation committee. And as a result, we've had a lot of reports. The initial resolution that was passed by all three boards pertained primarily to the safety, but since then we have a lot more information and reports that were produced for our meetings with DTS, as well as feedback from our communities. And we have basically input from several hundred households, including over almost 200 households in Palolo. So we think we have a pretty good representation of how the community feels about this. Basically, everyone wants the main bus trunk route back to be restored. And that is that blue line going down the middle of Kamiki. You see where it bisects the region. And we, for your benefit, we also have poster boards here as well. But this is the route we're asking for. And if we go back to the original route, the one with the red, okay, you can see the problem here. The problem here is it starts with that loop around Palolo where you see the big thumbs up on the top. And then the red, it goes down toward Market City. And then it goes down Aloha all the way to KCC and then loops around Kapiolani Park. So in the middle of Kamiki, basically we have a really lopsided coverage. And you can see on this poster board here, in analyzing the data of the buses per day, work day, on the left side, the Kapahulu-Kamiki boundary, you have 409 buses per day. Okay, the middle of Kamiki, 0. And it's kind of baffling because the middle of Kamiki is where you would have Kamiki town, you would have your post office, your library, goes by the fire station, and then it goes down to Kamiki Intermediate and the Kilauea District Park before it goes down to Diamond Head. So this route fulfills all of the stated criteria and goals that DTS stated to be the goal of Bus 200 as a community circulator. Because why? Because it produces the best optimal Mauka to Makai route in the middle of the Kamiki main district. It also covers every community resource and key destination you would want to have along the route. And it also builds new ridership, you know, if we were to change back to this route. Okay, we go to the next map, and this is something very dear to me. The next map, okay, this is the Kamiki Middle School district. Look at that huge area. This is not a small middle school. It's over 1,000 students attend this school in this huge area, including your area and Wilhelmina Rise, et cetera. And why this is important is it's a public school, so after school, the school is closed. So if you have two working parents, what do? What do the kids do? Well, I went there. It was called Kaimiki Intermediate. And after school, I would take the bus, which was right in front of the school, and I would go to either the library or go to Kaimiki Town, very short distance, few minutes away, and then transfer to where I needed to go to for my lessons or Chinese school. And so for working parents, this was a real boon. Intermediate school is the time in which you really want to have your kids learn to take the bus and to become independent. And I think that's probably why I became the person I am today, because I learned to be independent and to get here and there without my parents driving me around. My kids also took this bus. And also my mother took this bus because post-war, this was called number 3 Navy. So she worked down in the Naval Shipyard. So we're 3 generations of riding this bus. So to me, it's a personal matter. Okay.
And you've written a beautiful article that came out in the Advertiser just a couple weeks ago, and I think most of our members are familiar with the resolution that you presented before us. And with that, I applaud your your community service on this. I would like to entertain a motion just to move straight to support the adoption of this resolution to restore bus route 200. Is that correct in
To
saying?
restore the routing of former 9.
I'm sorry, restore the routing of former
Former
9
9.
as demonstrated by the turquoise color. And
Can I add something though?
Sure.
Okay, so we got an answer back from DTS and they said, no, they would not change the route because it costs too much. So we went back to the drawing board and look, how do we make it cheaper? And so our suggestion is to remove the Kapiolani Park loop because the ridership is so low. And interesting, in response to my op-ed, I got a few responses from people who live in your area around the park. And they said that basically bus 200 does little for them. They're not happy with it because it doesn't take them to anywhere they want to go. And so just based on our observation about the ridership, about 80% of the ridership is in Palolo, and they get off at Waialae Avenue or Market City. Below that area, it's very, very, 80% of the buses have 0 people in them. And those that do have fewer than 4 people. Yeah, so it's, it's kind of, we feel that it's kind of a waste. So if you're, and also, I heard that your neighborhood board was concerned about congestion. And so what I did was to look at how many buses are going to, for example, 2 key intersections. The Kuhio intersection on a workday has 586 buses per day. 620 with bus 200. Without it, it would be 586. But that's still about 1 every 2 minutes. So how many buses do you really need going there? And I have other data as well. Now, in terms of Kapiolani Park, there are 3 buses that go around, but they turn on Montserrat. And then there are 2 buses that go to 214. Now, 14 is very infrequent. So if you remove 200, you're going to leave the people who live at the end of the park at a loss. So what I would recommend is to have bus 200 once again go to the end of the park. That's every 15 minutes. I used to ride the bus. I grew up in Kapahulu. So it was either 2A, Campbell Avenue, or 2B, Kapiolani Park. And I think that that would be a much better solution, help to relieve some of your congestion here.
And is that suggestion in the resolution as well?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Then with that, I would like to ask for a motion to.
This is Arlene. I'd like to recommend a motion to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Is there any discussion that
Second.
we have on this? Then with that, I would like to call the vote. Did you get the second? Was Rosman. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Knight,
Aye.
Wong, Bruce Wong. Julia Allen.
Aye.
Murchie absent. Witherwax absent. Miranda.
Aye.
Aye. Welch. Aye. Wasden.
Aye.
Kendrick Wong is absent. Hasina, aye. Velasco, aye. St. Dennis, aye. Matson,
Aye, because this further emphasizes the questions and serious concerns about the presentation we've received tonight.
and Rosman,
Aye.
aye. Linda Wong, aye. Chair, resolutions adopted with 12 aye votes.
Oh, mahalo.
Thank you. And
Mahalo.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we look forward to then updates as time goes by. And thank you for your advocacy. With that, we have a couple of others, and maybe from our same folks here. This one is, I think, pretty simple. There was an archery range that we used to have in Kapiolani Park, where the archery range was, and arrows were coming into the tennis courts. So that's kind of sad if you're playing tennis. So the city came up with this one here. There's been a lot of hubbubaloo about it. The community is saying, I think Tommy Waters has said, we're putting a pause on this, from what I understand. This community up in Kaimuki, is it Mau Mau Park, is asking us for their support to say, don't put this here until we have further consultation, or don't put it at all. Is that correct?
Well, no, actually, this is a generic resolution for any neighborhood board. Arrows coming in a park near you. It's not specifically related to Ma'umai Park, except as an intro of what happened there. And because I'm a part of that committee, our transportation committee looked into this. And how it happened is apparently the city made a deal with a private foundation to build a facility, Kyo Dojo, a very Japanese archery facility in Ma'umai Nature Park, which is preservation land. And so, after a number of presentations, it sounded very good, actually. And there were assurances that there was going to be netting and almost zero risk and so forth. And so what happened is finally the community, after, after a number of months at the end of last year, found out about it, and there was a huge protest. And so as a result of that, the city put the project on the hold, and we looked into it. We had to look into it because, first of all, the safety aspects. We were assured that this would be pretty safe, but how safe is it? We found out that there was actually a master plan for this park. And this is not a new proposal, but it was actually proposed in 2003. And there were 3 consultants who looked at this, an engineer, a landscape architect, and one of our city directors. They all said, no way, no archery here. And the reason why is insufficient buffer zone. And the terrain was not conducive to having an archery park. So that led us to the question, well, what's a reasonable buffer zone? 15 feet, 20 feet? Well, actually, according to the U.S. Forest Service, Department of Agriculture, it's 150 to 400 feet. And the exact wording is that it should be away from public areas, trails, and buildings. And so, how much is 500 feet, which is the length of distance that the arrow traveled in Kapiolani Park to the tennis courts? Well, here's our football field. It's 360 feet. So you add on another 140 feet, that's 500 feet. It's difficult for us to imagine how much is 500 feet. So taking just the Ma'umai Park area as an example, you see the red arrows? That's where it would go. It would go right through the Board of Water Supply where the workers are in those 2 pumps there. And it would go all the way to Coco Head Drive where their house is. And then you can extend that in a radius, because in Kapiolani Park, the arrow actually flew backwards.
So this, your resolution, which has been offered for us to support, is a resolution ensuring community park safety from archery ranges in general.
In general.
And offers these guidelines based on on research.
Just want to add something. I'm Leola Iwaki. Anyway, just want to add something really quickly. Palolo Park, Recreational Park was addressed, is addressing this now. Someone has come up with the idea of putting an archery in the Palolo Recreational Park for the kids. So this is coming up, whether we don't know about this now, but we're finding out that it could come to your park near you. It could come to Capolono, it could come to any other park that's near us, that people are interested in putting an archery for kids, but still, it starts there and then we don't know how far that goes. But we want to keep it away from our schools and parks, and our parks now, especially in Palolo. That was again brought to our attention that this interested in doing this for the kids.
Okay, then with that, I think most of our members have had a chance to look at this resolution in our Gmail and our Google Drive. I would entertain a motion to adopt this if someone is so interested. No, I'll entertain you. You want to give a motion?
I'll give a motion to introduce.
Is there a second? That's Angie. Rafael. Is there some discussion on this? Any more that anybody needs to hear?
Chair.
Yes. Is that Anthony? Go ahead.
Anthony Miranda. Yeah. Have we heard from anyone from the pro archery community? I feel like archery is getting a bad rap here.
I have not. But
I think before we vote on this, we should. We've heard from the proposer of the resolution, but I don't think there's any need for us to fear archery in a general sense. It's a pretty popular sport. It's in the Olympics. I think a lot of people really enjoy it. I did when I was in Boy Scouts. I never saw anyone get shot with an arrow, so I don't know that we have that much to worry about, and I'm not sure how necessary this resolution is.
okay, thank you. And Laura St. Dennis?
Could I ask you, so who was it that recommended 500 feet?
The U.S. Department of Agriculture, U.S. Forestry Service. And it actually, they cited as a required 150 to 400 feet, 50 feet. Yeah. So you can believe what you want to believe pertaining to safety. But another issue is the way in which this proposal came forth. Because the binding agreement was signed on May 14, 2025, exactly 1 year from today. But according to HRS 343, an environmental assessment needs to be done prior to a binding agreement. That was not done. The draft EA only came out in December, made available in January, and we were asked to comment in February. That's the only way the public would find out about this project.
And Linda, you have a question?
The archer, we used to have the same situation, and all the archers would come and they come out in force, and it's like, the fishermen, and it's died out. They don't really come and show up anymore or have all these rah-rah feelings. I think it's just transcended.
This is Arlene. I would just like to point out that this resolution is for adopting these taking your concerns and the recommendations of the buffer zone in addition to the length that the arrows can fly. And you just want to make sure that if someone's considering putting in an archery park, that they do it safely.
I think that the intent of the resolution is not to have any other boards be subject to what we were subjected to, which is not having sufficient public input prior to a binding agreement being signed by the city and a private corporation on public parklands in a
Yes.
neighborhood park.
Yeah, your resolution is not preventing any archery. It's just saying,
No.
look at these and let the public know.
Right. In other words, the process has to be properly
Right.
followed. And we owe a debt of gratitude to Councilman and Council Chair Waters, who conducted a survey of the residents. And that was only done, this year. And the results of the survey were that 80% of the residents did not want archery in their neighborhood park.
Okay, and with that, are there other points of
Yeah,
discussion?
Chair.
Yes, sir.
Could
Uh,
I
Could we
understand
have,
that I'm reading the right resolution here? Excuse me. Are we looking at archery range resolution on 5/14/26 in the drive? Is that what we're being asked to vote on?
Resolution to adopt recommendations related to the, I'm sorry, it was resolution ensuring community park safety from archery ranges, I believe is the one that I've got in front of me.
Chair Welch, point of order. Could we
Anthony
have those
is
who
that
have
name.
not spoken speak before?
That's the right one.
Second, second opinions, please.
Well,
I've had
I
my
think he's
hand
asking
up
for a
to
point of
speak on
clarification.
this.
It's the one with the maps marking the boundaries, I believe is the one that we're all looking at.
Yeah, it's archery range resolution on 5/14/2026. And as the time check, we have a minute and a half. Thank you.
Yes, okay, thank you. And so with that, I would like to call for the vote, Curtis, and obviously we're not going to get beyond this on our agenda, so.
Safety is the concern.
Chair,
Okay.
is
and
the
Curtis?
discussion now over then at this point?
Yes, discussion's over. There's motion on the floor to adopt this resolution.
Knight, aye. Wong, Bruce Wong, aye. Allen, aye. Murchie and Witherwax absent. Miranda,
No.
no. Welch, aye. Wasden, aye. Kendrick Wong, absent. Rafia Hesina, aye. Velasco, St. Dennis, Matson,
Emphatic aye.
all aye votes. Okay. Rosman, aye. And Linda Wong, aye. Cherry, the resolution's adopted, 11 aye votes and 1 no vote or nay vote.
Mahalo
Okay,
nui loa.
thank you. And with that, I think we had a
Mahalo.
very ambitious agenda tonight. We got through a huge amount of it. My apologies that we didn't get to the last of it, but we will pick this up at our next meeting. So thank you, everybody, for your cooperation and getting as much done as we could tonight. And with that, I hope you have a very happy Kamehameha Day, and we will see you in July, if not at a committee meeting. So aloha, everyone. And Memorial Day, right? We got Memorial Day coming up too. Okay, with that, meeting adjourned.